Are you ready? Hey, think you can tell us what to do? You think you can tell us what to wear? You think that you're better? Well, you better get ready.
All right, everybody, we are here on a Sunday night out of our normal time here. I am John Wangland. Joining me, as always, is brother Martin, the Clasher Smasher himself. And we are going to do a little something new here that we have never done on the show. We are going to introduce some Clash of the Champions out to everybody. We're going to go all the way back into the wrestling archives and check out the Clash of the Champions from WCW. This first one here is from 1988. Brother Martin wasn't even born yet in 1988. Were you?
September of 1988, I was born. So this was before I was even busting out of my mama's womb, baby.
There we go. I'm telling you, man. We're gonna have some fun tonight. I'm looking forward to this. So we're gonna start back. We're gonna do these every few weeks, maybe every month or so. We're gonna sprinkle these ones in right here on the show on Facebook and YouTube. And we're going to watch the Clash of the Champions right from the beginning all the way to the last one. There's 35 of them, Brother Martin. We're going to be here for a while.
I think we're going to have some fun, though, too.
I think so, too. This is going to be a fun one here. But how you doing tonight, man? You doing good?
I'm doing good, brother. I've just been enjoying my day off. Work's been crazy because you know how things go down here, down in the dirty South during the spring and summertime. But whenever I get the opportunity just to sit back, relax, spend time with the wife and kids, it's always a good time. So I'm blessed. I'm happy. And I get to cap it off with having a blast with you tonight, watching some good old-fashioned wrestling. So I'm good, man.
We're going to have some fun tonight. So let's go back in here a little bit here. So the Clash of the Champions, this one right here, the reason they brought this out, Chris, was to combat WrestleMania. So they wanted to run this against WrestleMania to see what they could do to take the views down for WrestleMania a little bit. And this first Clash of Champions was a hell of a success for them. They scored a 5.6 rating for this on TBS, had over 6,000 people in attendance, over 5,600 paid people to be in attendance at this. And a hell of a way to kind of go against WrestleMania was Clash of the Champions.
Without a shadow of a doubt, brother, like a 5 rating. Just do you think that any wrestling show of right now could hit anything close to that?
No, I think if you would put them all together in a week for the top 3, for SmackDown, for AEW, and for Raw, I don't think they come close to that rating.
Dude, that's ridiculous, man. And that just speaks about like what people were watching back then, like must see TV, the appointment television, and like a lot of people can make the excuse, like with modern wrestling, all because it's on so many platforms and this and that. I don't believe that, because John, you know, from watching things like Netflix, Hulu, hell, just regular cable, there are television shows that literally still get millions upon millions of views. So
Sure.
I don't think
tens of millions of views.
exactly. So I don't buy the excuse for 1 second that it's because of all these other platforms. That's the reason why no one watches like they used to. Bullshit. Just saying.
It's a cop-out excuse in a lot of ways, in my
I
opinion.
agree.
But I mean, I know I think they even equate it now with some of them, that they can equate some of the streaming services into the Nielsen ratings on how they do it. I mean, I'm not sure. To be honest, I don't pay attention to the rating stuff because I don't care. If I want to watch something, I'm just going to watch it. Like, I don't give a shit if it draws a 1.0 or a 7.0 rating. I don't care. I'm not here to analyze the metrics on them or anything like that. I just want to watch something that I like and that I enjoy. And obviously at this time, people really seem to enjoy this, because going against a WrestleMania here, it was a great alternative for them. Now, WCW and WWF at the time had been notorious for combating one another with different things. Vince had done it to the Crockett's. The Crockett's had done it right back to him on many occasions. And that's just kind of how business rolled at that point there. Jim Crockett and Vince McMahon had a hell of a history going back and forth with each other on a lot of things to try, ultimately at the end of the day, of course, Vince McMahon ended up winning pretty easily over Jim Crockett. Yeah. They had to sell it out to Turner, all that stuff. But this was a really great way for Jim Crockett to try to capitalize on his biggest, stars in this. And he had some very big stars here. Let me run down the matches on this card for tonight. So this is a little under 2 hours, this show. The reason it's so long is because of the main event. The main event is a very long match, but we'll get to that in a second. So to kick off the show, we got Mike Rotunda. He is with Kevin Sullivan. This is, I believe, the Varsity Club at this time.
Oh, God.
Well, this isn't like the Benoit shit, we're wrestling him every week. At least we get a different version of him here. He's the Varsity Club, all right? So we can't escape Kevin Sullivan ever on this show, Kevin.
Jesus Christ, no, we can't.
Oh, man. Well, Mike Rotunda is taking on Jimmy Jam Garvin, who's with Precious, and it's for the NWA Television Championship tonight. That's going to be the opening matchup.
Precious does not compare to Sapphire, though.
No, she's not like baby Sapphire there. And then we have the Midnight Express, Bobby Eaton and Stan Lane. This is the version of the Midnight Express that's out tonight. No Dennis was it Dennis Condrey? Was the other one?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. No Dennis Condrey. This is Stan Lane. They're the champs. They're taking on the Fantastics, Bobby Fulton and Tommy Rogers.
This is for the good one.
NWA U.S. Tag Team Championships. Yes, they used to have a U.S. Tag Team Championship back in the day. Did you know that?
Yes. The first time that I discovered it is I was watching an old episode of WCW Saturday Night, and in the World Championship version of the Freebirds, which was with Michael P.S. Hayes and with Jimmy Jam Garvin, they were the U.S. Tag Team Champions. So that's how I first discovered them.
All right. So, yes. Fair enough. Next match is a 6-man match. It's going to be the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait.
And the Road Warriors, who are with Paul Ellering, and they're taking on Ivan Koloff and the Powers of Pain, the Barbarian and the Warlord, in a barbed wire 6-man tag team match. Interesting, right?
Yeah, Dusty's going to bleed.
This is going to be bowling shoe ugly, I think.
I'm calling it. How fast into the match will Dusty be busted open, do you think?
I'm going to give him about 4 minutes, probably. And he's gonna be bleeding pretty good in there. So I don't know. Interesting match there. We'll be able to see the Powers of Pain, the Road Warriors, Dusty and Ivan Koloff, and they're together in a barbed wire 6-man match. So interesting to see. We'll see how that goes. Then we got Barry Windham and Lex Luger are taking on Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard with J.J. Dillon for the NWA World Tag Team Championship. That should be a pretty good match.
That's going to be a good one.
And then in the main event, this is the biggest feud WCW had for many years, and it went all the way to the final Nitro, of course. Sting is taking on Ric Flair, and Ric Flair is with J.J. Dillon here. This is for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. JJ's suspended in a cage above the ring.
Oh, man, I'm excited. You just named off all that talent, dude. Dare I say, every single person you just mentioned is Hall of Fame worthy. If not Hall of Famers.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you on that. I really don't see anybody out there that we mentioned that's really in this. I mean, maybe I don't know. The Fantastics were pretty good from what I've heard.
Yeah, which I don't know very much about them. I'll be blunt with you. I don't.
Yeah, I've heard they were a great tag team.
When I hear about them, mainly it's because of Jim Cornette.
People talk a lot of positive things about the Fantastics, so it'll be interesting to see them tonight. I mean, Jimmy Jam Garvin's in the Hall of Fame. Mike Rotunda, probably could be in there. Maybe in some people's opinions, maybe.
Based off his genetics, he should be in the Hall of Fame. I'm just saying
he's got some good genetics there for sure. I mean, Barry Windham is a Hall of Famer. Lex Luger definitely, will be a Hall of Famer. Hopefully one day soon. Should be by now.
Why he's not right now, I have no fucking clue. I'm sorry,
mind. Dusty Rhodes, Road Warriors in there. Powers of Pain, probably not. Ivan Koloff, I think, is in the Hall of Fame. I think he might have gotten in before. I could be wrong. Who else? Ric Flair, Sting. Enough said with those two right there. They're definitely in there. Tully, Blanchard, Arn Anderson, Hall of Fame. So I think they produced some good talent at this time, don't you?
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. And the thing is that this is a prime example because within like the next year and a half, like the company gets sold, from my understanding, to Ted Turner. And the thing is that shows you can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't have people steering the ship right, especially from like the business perspective, it doesn't matter because you'll still hit that fucking iceberg. So it's sad, man. They did, dare I say, they had a better roster than the WWE at this time.
It was pretty close. They had a very good roster of people at this time, no doubt about it. They had a tremendous roster, so they were able to compete pretty well against them. So it's gonna be an interesting show. Once again, it's coming from the Greensboro Coliseum. Oh, you got the Cody Rhodes shirt on. Look at you.
Yes, I love it.
Cody Rhodes.
I love. Hey, straight up, I'll fully admit this. Cody has won me over. I'm a huge Cody mark. I think
Cody's taking it at WrestleMania this weekend.
Without a shadow of a doubt, he's going to take the title. I think that's going to be the second biggest pop of the show. You're thinking second, yes. Whenever Kevin Owens and Sammy win the tag titles, that stadium's going to go fucking banana. Just say
they're going to go banana.
Banana.
Well, let's get on into the Clash of the Champions tonight. I'm sure we'll talk some WrestleMania next week for sure on the show. Let's get into Clash of the Champions. It's on the Peacock app for anybody that wants to watch it. Just type in Clash of the Champions, and it's season 1, episode 1, the first one.
Just like with most podcasts, guys, we do have sponsors. So, like,
do got it. This is a good one right here for a new one that we got.
So, Dusty, the spirit of Dusty, he contacted me saying, baby, we got you another sponsor, and here we go. So here we go.
Tired of getting pushed around by companies that say they have customer service? Well, this is Dusty Rhodes. I'm here to tell you about a place that'll get you the cash you need. That's right, my friends. Over at Northwest Title Loans can get you a cash loan on your
car. Get some Northwest Title Loans.
Yes.
First of all, there's no credit check.
There's no credit check.
And you get to keep the card, Jack. So whether you need a few $100, maybe $1,000 or so, call Northwest Title Loans and tell Dusty Rhodes.
Dusty Rhodes.
Call 877-511 cash for the location nearest you.
I wonder if Northwest Title Loans is still open to this day.
I don't know, but like straight up, you Google Dusty Rhodes commercials on YouTube, he's done a ton of them.
Okay, he wasn't. He liked to make that money.
Straight up, I love Dusty. I
can't blame him, right?
Yeah, dude. Have you seen Ric Flair's commercials?
Yes, unfortunately, I have.
So yeah,
usually they're about 45 seconds of my life. I wish I could get back, but
woo! All right,
it is what it is. All right, everybody. If you want to go on over to Peacock, join with us. Once again, it's over there. Clash of the Champions, season 1, episode 1, the first one here. So let's head on over there. Chris, you ready to go? You locked and loaded? You got the cock loaded up?
I'm getting the cock loaded up right now.
He's getting the cock ready to rock, man.
Lock, cocked, and ready to unload.
There we go.
Up. All right, that's not appropriate, but yeah.
Hey, there's children maybe that are viewing this. Come on.
Yes. Well, no offense,
let's start the show off though correctly. We forgot already. What do you need to say?
I'm sorry, Paul Bromwell.
You're damn right. I'm gonna be reminding you of that till the day you die.
Oh God. Okay. So speaking of things like Paul Bromwell, for people that want to hear about ratings and like the business of ratings, they're not paying me for this, but on adfreeshows.com, Bischoff has a bonus show. I think it's called like the business of the business,
He
where
puts it right
he's
up on 83 weeks too.
okay,
It's
okay. Yeah. And straight up, absolutely phenomenal show when it talks about ratings and how things go and all that. Straight up. So if you guys are fascinated to hear about how the business is behind the scenes, Bischoff's show on freaking ad-free shows is great. And for me, which I only pay $9.99 a month, and I get access to a crap ton of shows, great content. So
there you go.
There you go.
All right. Way to go. All right. You ready, brother?
I'm ready, brother. And sorry, Paul Bromwell.
Good man. Good man. Yeah. You're earning some redemption here in his eyes, I think.
I got you.
All right, everybody. Let's go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's hit play. Let's do this, son.
All right. Here we go. Oh, this was Sting chasing for the belt.
This was Sting chasing for the belt, correct.
I got you.
I love the old school like NWA arenas, how they would do it with the concrete floors and everything.
It made it so gritty, and it made them seem tougher.
You ain't lying about that. It was awesome. Young Lex Luger here.
Dude, Luger, I ain't nothing about it. The more we watch this stuff, the more I love Luger.
I love Luger anyways. He's awesome.
And
Luger's always over with me.
Dude, I love this
old music.
This is so 80s. You see like the lightning.
I love that belt though from the old NWA television championship there.
Yeah. The current National Wrestling the current version of the company uses that belt.
Oh, do they?
Yes.
Is Tyrus still the champ, the Funkasaurus?
Unfortunately, yes.
Oh, Lord.
I'll be honest, guys. I hope the company does well. I hope they succeed, because the more companies that succeed, like the more places guys can work. But from what I've been watching with the NWA recently, it's hot garbage. I'm sorry. God, I hate saying that. But the product's bad.
Look at this. Tony Schiavone and Bob Caudle.
Dude, like that mustache. How many mustache rides do you think he's given that day?
He gives Lois them for the last 40 years, apparently.
Cats, that and what? Like the cat bats. Is what it is.
Bob Caudle is a name that not a lot of people always remember. For modern wrestling fans, don't know who Bob Caudle is. Bob Caudle is one of the greatest announcers of all time.
He was the 60s and 70s version of Jim Ross, pretty much.
Everybody talks so fondly that announced with Bob Caudle back then. Speaking of Jim Ross, there he is. Look.
Oh, wow.
I think Bob Caudle is still alive in his 90s, if I remember correctly.
I'm going to look that up, actually. That's a really good.
I got Google up right now. Let me look him up for you.
Okay.
Let's see. I'll save you here. I think he's still around. Bob Caudle was born in 1930. So he was born in 1930.
Yeah.
So he is... Him and his wife, Jackie, have been married for over 60 years.
God bless him. That's awesome.
He ran for U.S. Senate at one point.
Really?
Yeah. I think he is still alive. He is still alive.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay.
Caudle is still alive. He has not passed away yet. No.
And speaking of stuff that's older, but great stuff. For all World Championship Wrestling fans, this is a must own. And once again, they're not paying us for this, but I'm saying it because I enjoy it. Get the Nitro book, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, by Guy Evans. Absolutely outstanding. One of the most detailed books when it comes to the history of World Championship Wrestling out there. So fantastic. And it's not the bullshit like those other people that work at the dirt sheets that wrote like the death of WCW and stuff like that. No, this is actually based off facts, ladies and gentlemen.
Here comes the Varsity Club. Mike Rotunda's coming out here.
Oh my God.
Now I'll say this: Mike Rotunda is from the area where I live.
Really?
His aunt was my neighbor for my whole life.
Mike Rotunda?
Yep. His aunt lived right behind me up until her passing a few years ago. He's from. He went to high school in Newark Valley, New York, which is about.
He's from Syracuse. I know that.
He went to Syracuse.
Oh, he went to Syracuse.
He's from Newark Valley, New York, which is about 20 minutes from my house. His aunt lived right behind me my entire life.
You talk about a wrestler that is very underappreciated. Mike Rotunda is definitely one of those.
He just didn't have the personality.
But he was great in the ring.
He was fantastic in the ring. He was a great worker, great technician. He just didn't have the charisma and the personality, in my opinion.
Which I'm going to quote a small quote off of page 280 in the Nitro book.
All right.
You're a scam. Okay. You're a scam. You are a no good son of a bitch. Fire me. I'm already fired. Fire me. I'm already fired. Who said that? There you go.
Of course, I know that one. That's an easy one. Fire me. You can't fire me.
I'm already fired.
I'm already fired. I hate your guts.
No good son of a bitch. Like,
I hate your guts, you no good son of a bitch. I remember watching that when I was a kid, and I was like, this is tremendous. I was like, I loved like the soap opera of WCW, but there was that real heat between them, which was great.
And it's funny because apparently the heat stemmed from Ric Flair's son Reed was doing a wrestling tournament, and Flair was scheduled to go to a Thunder taping. And the thing is that Flair claims he requested time off beforehand, and Bischoff says that he didn't. So he just basically was breaching his contract, which this is the guy's truth. We don't know personally the truth behind it because like we weren't there. But the thing is that caused the rift between Flair and Bischoff, and that's what led to that promo down the road. So
who's that referee right there, Chris?
Is that Teddy Long?
That's Teddy Long.
Man,
that's Teddy Long as the referee right there. Look at him.
Dude, speaking of Hall of Famers, man, Teddy Long, I love Teddy.
Absolutely. Teddy Long is the referee here.
One of my funnest experiences ever going to a wrestling show was waiting to meet Cross and hearing Ricky Steamboat and Teddy Long sitting right next to each other, just talking about the business.
There you go.
It was freaking awesome. Straight up, I love him.
I love it. What do you
And
think about Jimmy Jam Garvin, or they called him here Gorgeous Jimmy Garvin, but later became Jimmy Jam Garvin with the Freebirds? What do you think of him?
Jimmy, great worker, great personality, good talker. I think he was overshadowed by Michael Hayes and by Terry Bam Bam Gordy. So like straight up, I think Jimmy Jam is one of those guys that because the roster was so phenomenal at talent, he kind of got lost in the shuffle. Still,
it was unfair to him, though, to kind of put him in that. It was not unfair to him, but it was hard to put him in there because at that point, Buddy Roberts and Terry Bam Bam Gordy were gone. So they bring him back here with Michael PSAs later on in his career to kind of recreate the Freebirds. And they were fine. They were really good and stuff. Like they had a good run. But, the original Freebirds is the way to go, man. Buddy Roberts and Terry Bam Bam Gordy. Buddy Roberts is a real guilty pleasure of mine with wrestling. He was to me the best wrestler out of all the Freebirds. I love Terry Bam Bam Gordy though too. He was just the bruiser of the group, and then Michael PSAs, of course, the charisma, the talker, the one that really drew people into them in a lot of ways. But Buddy Roberts was the worker of the group.
Would you say Michael Hayes is easily one of like the top 20 greatest talkers in the history of the business?
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Okay,
and to me, yeah, I would say.
Because
he doesn't get remembered a lot, though, too, because, his career ended in the early 90s there. And I don't think a lot of the younger fans remember how damn good Michael PSAs was on the ring. He could get the crowd hot, man.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he could. And the thing is that Michael, you talk about someone that helped move the business forward. Michael was the one that created the idea of coming down to the ring with rock and roll music.
Yep.
He's the one that helped with the ideas for like the way the wrestling shows were shot down in a world-class championship wrestling. Michael was a huge innovator like within the business, and he doesn't get the love he deserves, in my opinion.
Bad Street USA is one of the greatest entrance songs of all time,
dude. Without a doubt. No. You are 1,000% right, brother. I love it.
I know it's cheesy and shit, but it was just phenomenal.
It was a product of the time, and it was fun.
One of the greatest rivalries in the history for me is the Freebirds versus the Von Erichs.
Oh, without a doubt.
Daniel, welcome. He says, I'm late to the party. This is not Veer's greatest hits watch along.
Oh, I love it. Oh,
Daniel, we're on Clash of the Champions 1. Timestamp is 9 minutes and 10 seconds right now. So if you want to check it out with us, buddy, we're watching a little Jimmy Jam Garvin right here, taking on Michael PSAs for the NWA.
Oh, no.
Championship.
Mike Rotunda.
I'm sorry, Mike Rotunda. Excuse me. We're just talking about Michael PSAs there.
Yeah, but no, and the thing is that do you know the thing that Mr. Jimmy Jam and Veer have in common?
Hit me with it.
Both have luscious, beautiful heads of hair.
There we go. Jimmy Jam doesn't have it anymore, though. He's as bald as a cue ball now.
I know, but look at that mane he has. He has
Daniel, would you agree that Bad Street USA, I don't know if you caught this here, would you agree that Bad Street USA is one of the greatest wrestling entrance songs of all time? I bet you would agree. Daniel says he took it in a recent draft there that he did with his friends.
And I would love for somebody to argue this, but the greatest theme of all time is Real American.
No doubt about it. It is. It is.
Okay.
So this is round 1, I guess. So I guess they were doing rounds at this time.
This is college rules match, apparently.
Yeah, college rules because of the varsity club. Daniel says 100% agree. I knew you would, Daniel.
Oh, yeah.
I just had a feeling.
Straight up, which I got to say this, because I love both of you guys to death. I swear to God, you guys are like my wrestling brothers. Okay, yes. Because the three of us, we are so compatible, like with how we feel, like with the business. It's almost like we're looking in a mirror.
It's pretty fun. I like to sit back and just shoot the shit and talk some old school stuff with some buddies. That's why we do the show, for everybody out there. That's why we do this show. Now, Precious, his manager, let's see, Battle for Number 2, Real America is in its own ballpark. Yeah,
wasn't that Mr. Garvin's ex-wife?
I believe it's his wife still to this day.
Really?
I believe they're still married. I'm not 100% positive, but I'm pretty sure that they're still married to this day.
I gotcha.
And Jimmy Jam Garvin, after leaving the wrestling world, became an airplane pilot.
That's pretty cool.
It is, right? He's got his own airplane pilot. Oh, God. Get Sullivan out of the fucking ring. Look at him. He's choking Precious.
Really? That son of a bitch.
Wow.
Jimmy would actually be like a great interview. I would love to have him on the show.
I don't know if he does any of them anymore. Mike Rotunda got the cheap pin there from the distraction. Oh, Jimmy just gave him a kick right in the breadbasket.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
Look at that fucking suplex. Now Kevin Sullivan's in there, and Jimmy Garvin is going at it with Sullivan.
Oh, it's Rick Steiner.
Rick Steiner's in here.
Oh, good God.
Nailed him with the hacksaw 2x4.
Good for her. That was a nice solid hit.
Come on, get that up. No, she's going right after Sullivan now.
Damn, dude, she is
over with me right here, bro.
Dude, do you hear the crowd?
Dude, they're going nuts. Listen to Jim Ross here.
Dude, the crowd, what she's doing, the announcers, man, this is great.
They're trying to hold her back and keep her in the ring, and Jimmy's pulling him.
With all due respect, she's the most over thing in this match.
Yeah, they went crazy there for that. I love it.
Good for her.
Look at her. Jimmy's got to pull her back. She wants to get back in there with them.
Good God, man. That was good.
I think Precious could kick Sullivan's ass.
Dude, I wouldn't doubt it.
Daniel says no matter what year, Sullivan is still ruining things.
No shit. I mean,
we can't escape him.
It's kind of like the movie Groundhog Day. I mean,
yeah. What
Sullivan,
a great movie that is, by the way.
Oh, God, yeah, it is.
Needle Nose Ned.
Ned
Ryerson. I love
Ned.
I love when he goes for the drunken driving thing when he figures out he can't get away from it and goes on the train tracks and eventually runs into the thing and the cops pull him over. He opens the window and he goes, I'd like a double cheeseburger, large fries, chocolate shake. And then the drunk guy in the back goes, flapjacks. $2 for flapjacks.
If you could,
classic.
Now, if you could pick a day like to relive over and over, what would it be?
I can't say it on the air.
Okay, I got you.
I cannot say it on the air, but I got one right in my mind.
For me, I'll be honest with you. The day my daughter was born. That would be for me.
That's a good thing, man.
Because honestly, there is no day that I felt closer to God than on that day, and just holding her and just showing her, just holding her, looking at her, and just realizing how amazing life is because of her. It just, I would love to have that feeling over again.
Amen to that. That's a beautiful thing.
Dr.
Daniel
Death.
said Jimmy should have let her continue. It would have spared us 1996 and 1997 WCW.
Yes.
Daniel says, don't let Cornette hear you ordering food.
God
Give me a triple cheeseburger, extra pickles, extra onions, motherfucker.
Oh, speaking of fast food and Jim Cornette, guys, Google Jim Cornette and Wendy's thing.
That was tremendous. And they egged him on, which was even better and got him angrier. Which I think I'm misquoting it, or maybe I'm not, but like I think they taped it. They did. They videotaped it in the back. I think it was Brian Pillman who videotaped it, or Chris Jericho, one or the other.
This was during his Smoky Mountain Wrestling days.
Yeah, it was one of them. I think it might have been Pillman or Jericho or something that videotaped it. Maybe it was Candido. I don't remember exactly, but they had him all hot and bothered, man. It was pretty funny. Dude, they do not need to let Dr. Death ever on the microphone again.
He's fucking terrible.
I think he's a little inebriated here too.
He's got a good look. Just
Dr. Death was great. Don't get me wrong. That haircut's got to go though.
I have a question, okay, in which I don't know whether you heard this on like the Jim Ross show, because like, which I'll be honest with you, I don't listen to that show that
crotchety to listen to.
Thank you, exactly. I think Jim Ross has become like a bitter old guy. Not saying that he's not the greatest announcer of all time, because he is, but whenever it came to the Oklahoma gimmick in a World Championship Wrestling, and Steve Williams was involved with that, did it hurt Jim Ross's feelings?
I don't think so. I think he knew that he was in a rough spot and probably needed the money.
Okay.
Speaking of Jim Cornette, there he is.
Holy shit, he looks young.
Look at the Prince of Polyester here. Look how skinny he is.
Dude, I love it.
Daniel wants Dr. Death's jacket. America,
fuck you.
America.
Jim Cornette.
Here's one of the greatest tag teams of all time, the Midnight Express.
I would say Jim Cornette, the greatest living manager in wrestling, period.
Living is the key word.
Living, yes.
He's the greatest manager of all time.
Oh yeah. So, like, for me, the second greatest manager ever is Jim Cornette. Third is Paul Heyman. Without a doubt.
I would have to go Jim Cornette as number 2.
I know.
No doubt.
Jim's number 2 and Paul Heyman's number 3.
And love the Fantastics. Look at this.
Dude, the crowds are good.
Dude, this is just so 80s. Just these hairstyles. They're coming out with these fucking bow ties on. Timestamp here, folks, is 17 minutes and 5 seconds. Clash of the Champions, if you want to watch along with us. Fantastics going right at it with the Midnight Express here, right off the bat. This is once again for the NWA US Championship Tag Team Championship.
How is the Midnight Express not in the Hall of Fame?
I don't know. I thought they were supposed to go in this year. There was a rumor, but who knows?
They're one of the greatest tag teams of all time.
I think it's definitely going to happen. Hopefully, it's a shame Bobby Eaton didn't live to see it.
I would love to hear Jim Cornette on WWE television with a live mic. I'm just saying.
He was a few years ago for somebody, wasn't he? He inducted somebody a few years ago and was on a live mic and was good.
He did a few specials for the WWE Network. I know that.
It might have been last year, the year before he inducted somebody.
And how the hell is Jim Cornette not in the Hall of Fame?
I don't know. WrestleMania is this weekend, and like they barely announced anybody for the Hall of Fame. It just doesn't seem good to me that the Hall of Fame this year. It seems really blah. Daniel says this was Cornette pre-Russo. He aged 75 years and 2. Daniel also agrees here. The Hall of Fame this year is literally them being like, meh, here you go. I agree. I think it's kind of bland this year for the Hall of Fame, Chris.
I think, Rey Mysterio definitely deserves it. The Great Muta definitely deserves it. And Andy Kaufman, definitely. And this is the thing. For the people that want to comment on Twitter when it comes to Andy Kaufman saying, who the hell is he, this, that, the other, this is the thing. If it wasn't for individuals such as Andy Kaufman, you wouldn't have modern sports entertainment. He was a building block. He was a staple. What is it like they keep referring to, like the four guys like from AEW, like they're like the four staples,
four pillars or something?
Yeah. Freaking Kaufman was one of the pillars of sports entertainment. And if it wasn't for him and the feud with Jerry Lawler, you talk about pivotal feuds.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't have wrestling wouldn't have moved forward like it did. It was revolutionary. It was.
It definitely was. He was a huge star.
Kaufman deserves it, hands down. I'm so excited to see it. And so is Jerry going to be the one?
They haven't said yet, from what I've seen. Daniel agrees. He says he deserves it, but they just announced like, oh, by the way, type. I agree. They should have made more of a hype out of it.
Oh, yeah.
Much more hype for it. Boy, these guys are having a good match so far, the Fantastics and the Midnight.
Oh, yeah. Like they're not to discount the match, guys. It's just thing with Andy Kaufman.
No, it's good topics here. I heard the Midnight Express was supposed to go in this year, that they were penciled in, but a lot of the names that they had penciled in didn't make it. So, because I think they're only going to announce one or two more. They're going to keep it, I think, less than 5.
And
5 or less, excuse me.
Speaking of WrestleMania, apparently, from what I heard, Bray Wyatt's not going to be on the card because of an illness.
Yeah.
And so basically, Bobby Lashley is going to have like a special opponent, and my choice would be one of the hottest heels in all of wrestling right now, which is L.A. Knight.
All right.
Without a doubt, with the role he's on right now, with how over he's getting, how can you not have an L.A. WrestleMania without L.A. Knight?
We'll see. You never know. Daniel says, I was a pillar of the Cleveland Indians. Me, Wild Thing, Jake Taylor, and Mr. Gandhi.
Oh, my God.
Lou Brown was a pillar of them.
Goddamn, Lou Brown's a legend. Do you have marbles? Like
marbles?
Marbles.
You got no marbles.
This year during the baseball season, guys, we will be doing a watch along to Major League 2. So
yes, we will. That's coming.
Yes.
Opening day's Thursday. I can't wait. I've been waiting since October.
Brother, I'm excited. My Orioles, man, just the way like we're set up this year, I have not been this excited in many, many years to be a O's fan. I have. I have it, man. I'm stoked. I think that we can compete. We do play in the toughest division in baseball, without a shadow of a doubt.
Toughest.
What'd you say the toughest is?
NL East.
The NL East. Okay, I got
NL
you.
East, Braves, Phillies, Mets, top 3 teams there. They have just murderers on their team for hitters and pitchers.
Now the only team
AL East is slightly behind it because of the Yankees, the young Orioles, and the Devil Rays and the Blue Jays.
Yeah, because no offense, the Sox ain't gonna do shit this year.
No, they're not doing dick.
No. So,
boy, this crowd in Greensboro is hot tonight.
Oh yeah.
This is why Greensboro was a staple of the NWA there. You could see that they were into this.
Well, you talk about pillars. I think Greensboro was one of the pillars for their best cities during this era.
It probably was, other than Atlanta and the Omni. It very well could have been, and Greensboro could have been their biggest place that they went to. You know, they're one of their hottest places to go in their territory.
Is this a Tennessee Jam?
Alabama Jam.
Oh, sorry. Oh, beautiful elbow drop.
Elbow drop right off the. Boy, Bobby Eaton is a great worker.
Why am I thinking Tennessee? Oh, because of Brian Christopher. Sorry.
Yep. Bobby Eaton is one hell of a worker.
God, he is, dude.
He just makes it look so easy with everything. Stan Lane was pretty damn good, though, too. I like Stan Lane.
Oh, yeah. Fantastic workers. I would have to say, and I know some people might not agree with me, but the 2 most naturally gifted wrestlers I've ever watched, it was Brad Armstrong and Bobby Eaton. Just to people that
good picks.
Oh yeah, and which I'm not talking about. They're phenomenal on the mic, but just pure in-ring talent. They have never had a bad match. They have made their opponents look like $1 million, and it made it look so seamless. There's 2 guys that I've straight up there on top of my list.
Daniel says they got Lashley and LA Knight and Cross in the Andre Battle Royal on SmackDown. Horrible. Wow. Those 3 guys, poor them.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys, because I'm the biggest Cross fan out there. I love Cross to death, but the way they're booking him right now, it's absolutely fucking dreadful. If he would request a release right now, I wouldn't blame him. I'm sorry.
Daniel says Greensboro still has a pretty good crowd. Saw AEW there Christmas week 2021. Still a pretty good crowd. Always Greensboro is a wrestling territory. If this match was anything but fantastic, do I get a refund? Their names are the Fantastics.
Oh, that's true.
Very true, my friend.
That's like above average Mike Sanders.
He's not above average, okay?
If the match was below average, would I get a refund?
I think Mike Average was below average, not above average. They should have named him that. That's my opinion.
Mike Sanders, yeah. Jericho shit all over it on one of his shows saying
about Mike Sanders.
Yeah, saying like, okay, so you got the opportunity, you're going on national television, you got the potential to have millions of people watching you, and what's your gimmick? Well, I'm above average. I'm above average. What the fuck?
Your gimmick, all right. Look at Jim fucking dancing around on the outside there.
What kind of foreign object do you think was in that racket case? Which we, of course, got the racket in there, but what do you think?
Man, I have no idea what Jim was putting in there. You never do know with old Corny. He had a couple of triple cheeseburgers loaded up there.
Dude, oh, God.
Bulldog on the outside there by Bobby Eaton. Very nice.
Beautiful. And I love the shit. Like,
look at this girl on the outside. She's all nervous and shit.
Do you see like the guardrails outside of the ring?
I love those guardrails that they did.
I do too.
It's just really like just old, dilapidated looking, this building and everything like that, but it's still cool. This building has had about probably
thousands of
millions of people in there back in the day. Chain smoking. It's got to smell like stale cigarettes and warm beer.
I agree. And the one New Japan still does the guardrails like this.
Daniel says Ahmed and Valentine could have teamed as the dog shits. Oh, I love it.
Oh my God, yes.
That's an understatement, Daniel.
Whenever we start doing t-shirts again, I want to have an NWO style shirt that says WUA. Wake up, Ahmed. Just
GWC mixed with the goon. GWC is a fucking goon. Let's just throw that out there.
Oh, God. Wait till
get me started on that fucking guy.
Who's that?
I'm not going to acknowledge it here in the air.
Okay, I got you.
This fucking guy is the most annoying creature ever, like in regards to the wrestling space of things.
Oh, this is the guy that rented out so like the guy owns a house, but it's all memorabilia.
Yeah,
and
he fucking smokes like a chimney, like marijuana in that motherfucker, and ruins like millions of dollars of fucking nostalgia and memorabilia and merch that he's got.
Dude, brother,
as a collector, it fucking pains me to watch him do that. I'm like, here you go. You got all these beautiful artifacts from wrestling history.
Oh,
man, look at that. Bam.
Because me and you
smoking around it.
Brother, like me and you, man, we would cherish that stuff.
Move there by the Fantastics.
Excellent match. Great psychology. Yes.
Great match here.
Okay.
Wow. Fantastics won the championship. They beat the Midnight Express.
This is the match of the night so far.
Man, that's for sure.
And I got to say this, the rest of the show, they got a lot to follow.
There's some good feuds out there to follow. Boy, the crowd was hot for this match. The fucking Fantastics and the Midnight Express tore that fucking house down.
The Fantastics are really good. Okay. I'm impressed. And Jim Cornette. Oh my damn!
Boy, he fucking nailed Tommy Young with that fucking tennis racket. Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh man, they're getting their ass kicked after here for their trouble. Is Jim taking his belt off now? They gonna whip him?
Speaking of dream guest, I would love to have Cornette on our show.
Yeah, that ain't gonna ever happen.
I know it ain't, but I'm just saying.
That would be nice though. Oh, he's whipping him now.
Oh, good Lord.
Jim wants to get in on the licks here.
Oh,
jeez,
damn, dude,
listen to Jim Ross there. He's taking a hide off of him.
It's a goddamn mugging.
Daniel says, you said cheap ciggies and warm booze. I think those two people.
Oh my God.
Walls
Daniel...
are orange stained. No amount of paint can ever cover it over.
Aww.
I wish some tennis players hit people with rackets like Cornette did.
Didn't John McEnroe?
I don't know if he hit him like Cornette did right there. Cornette's fucking winding up with that son of a bitch, man. He's going to hit one out into the fucking stands.
Stone Cold!
He's whipping him like a government mule.
My God. This was really good.
Yeah, it was there.
Damn!
Bobby Eaton tried to sell that one. Jim hit him right on the shoulder in the replay, and you can see it. And Bobby's got puts his hand on his head like he clobbered him.
But still, the psychology of this match was great. Everybody played their roles to perfection. Good match. Definitely thumbs up on that one.
Very good job. Really enjoyed that. That was nice.
Dude, I'm glad.
NWA main event, Sunday, 5:30, 5 p.m. Eastern time.
I am so glad that you gave me the idea of doing this show, man, because this is really fun.
So far, I always loved the Clash of the Champions. I always did.
And the difference between the NWA and the WWF during this era, which I know you'll probably side with me on this, was the NWA yes, they did have characters and yes, they had storylines, but they were more based off what happened within the ring. With the WWF, it was more like the larger than life, over the top characters before you got into the ring. So, what do you think?
Yeah, hold on one second there. Daniel said Midnight Express won by a DQ over there. That wasn't very fantastic for one guy to throw the ref over the ropes. Yeah, that's what I didn't like about that ending. Everybody thought the fucking Fantastics won, and then they reversed it at the end. I thought that was kind of horseshit. Yeah, they reversed it because of the over-the-top shit.
Was this the Bill Watts era?
I don't know if Bill was here at this point. Look at Ken Osmond here from Leave It to Beaver. Eddie Haskell. He's hyping up the new Leave It to Beaver show that was coming out.
Which I know you're a big fan of Leave It to Beaver.
I'm a huge fan of Leave It to Beaver. It's one of my favorite shows of all time.
Yes.
Boy, Ken Osmond as Eddie Haskell and Jim Cornette fit perfectly for one another. Chris, hit me with your question again there.
What's that?
The one you were just asking me before.
Hold on. Okay. When it came to the differences between the NWA product and the WWF, would you agree when I would say the NWA was more yes, they did have the characters, yes, they had the storylines, but they were more based off the in-ring product. But as compared to the WWF, they had the larger than life characters, and it wasn't necessarily what happened within the ring, but the characters that led the people to the ring.
I think you're spot on 110% correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I could have said it any better right there. WWE was all about the larger than life characters, like you said. It was building that atmosphere of things, the amazing pageantry that they would eventually turn it into and all those things. But they still attempted to do it even in this era. I mean,
oh yeah.
There was probably much better wrestling in the WCW at this point in time. And
without a doubt.
I'm sure there probably was for the most part, but the characters, the people on the show, they just couldn't match up, in my opinion, with WWE. WWE at that time.
Well, it's kind of like with me and you, with our Monday Night War watch-along series, where we watch Raw, and there's weeks on Raw where the show is so bad when it comes to the wrestling. These storylines are so good that the shitty wrestling doesn't matter.
So, really quick, who does this Al Perez look like to you? Tell me, look at his face and tell me who you think he looks like.
He's a Latino Barry Horowitz.
No, he looks just like Seth Rollins.
Yes, he does.
He's like Seth Rollins' fucking dad or something here, man.
Hey, Seth, you got something to tell us?
I don't know, man. Maybe Al Perez was out there having some fun back in the day, and didn't even realize he had a little kid, that would turn into be Seth Rollins. He looks just like Seth Rollins there.
Seth does have Latino heritage.
I think his name is Lopez.
Yes. So there you go. Did you know that Cross has Latino heritage too? He's got family. Yeah, he's got family from Puerto Rico.
So here's the Crockett rankings. Top 10 teams was I forgot Sting and Ronnie Garvin, number 9. The Varsity Club 8. The Fantastic is at 7. Barry Windham and Luger at 6. Powers of Pain 5. Midnight Express 4, number 3. Road Warriors 2. Nikita and Dusty. Number 1 is the Arn Anderson and Tully, the Brainbusters, the Four Horsemen. There you go.
I love it. And speaking of
Al freaking Perez,
hell yeah, I love it. And speaking of Nikita Koloff, because like we see it on the list, if you guys want to be inspired and you just want something to just uplift you, which I know it's kind of random, but go look at Nikita's Twitter page every single day. Just something positive, something encouraging. And you could have like a crappy day, just go look on his page, and he's got just such great messages. So check it out.
I had the pleasure to interview him several years ago, and he's one of the nicest human beings. He's tremendous.
I would love to sit in on
the Road Warriors and Dusty coming out here. Dusty's got some Road Warrior paint on there.
Oh my God, I love it. Dusty, honestly, of all of the wrestlers I've ever watched, I wish Dusty was still alive so I could just talk to him. Hell,
why is Animal wearing a fucking Jason mask?
I don't know. I guess it was popular back then.
I don't know. I don't remember seeing him do this.
Yeah. So,
Dusty's all Road Warriored up. Daniel says he was just at AML last night in North Carolina. I'm sure Nikita was getting inspired by Brad Attitude. Let me give a shout out to Brad Attitude, the great man himself. You know, he sent me a signed koozie, Chris.
Hell yeah, brother. I love Brad Attitude, and he still got screwed in that match. I'm just saying.
That fucking asshole Caucasian Mike.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, fuck Caucasian Mike. Excuse my language here. He's got heat with me.
He does.
Big time. He does. Brad Attitude, you're good in my book. My Attitude koozie stays right here with me at all points in time.
Why don't we bring Brad on the show? That'd be fun
one day, man. I'll reach out to Brad and see if he wants to come on.
I mean,
you know, you got to be really special though to get the Sensei of Attitude on the show, brother.
Yeah, that's right. That's true. But hopefully,
so how are these guys supposed to get in now with the ropes covered in barbed wire? How are they supposed to get in? Do they got to go under it?
Is this like a reverse battle royal?
I don't know. It's just barbed wire loaded all over the place. I think the Powers of Pain and Ivan Koloff are trying to figure out how to get in the fucking ring here.
Yeah.
They could have put a little bit more barbed wire on here than this. They just took like one little string and wrapped it around the ropes.
You talk about putting the carriage before the horse.
Daniel says the Attitudes koozie is a true collector's edition.
It is. It is.
It was his wife's dungeon, so Animal thought it looked dominant enough.
Fuck yeah.
All right, they're in the ring now here going at it. I just don't understand why he's wearing this mask here. Maybe it was part of a storyline. He got his face broken or something. I don't know.
How much cocaine do you think Hawk did before the match?
They were railing lines just one after the other, I'm sure, at that point in time.
Dude, this era of wrestling, great talents, but by God, like the drug use was probably rampant.
Different times, you know. Different times. Not to, say it was okay to do. It was
not at all.
And it was bad, but it was different times.
Oh, without a doubt.
It was way different. I always liked the Powers of Pain, though, Chris. What about you?
I did. I believe they were underappreciated, and they served their purpose. I mean,
they weren't great workers by any means. They weren't bad, but they weren't great workers. But they were two strong and believable tough guys. That's for sure.
Were they like Mike Sanders? Were they above average?
I think they were definitely above average.
Yeah.
That's my opinion, though.
Oh, Daniel just made a great point, actually.
All right, let me hit it here. Meng would have just ate the barbed wire and walked right in.
Hawk
would have done the coke off the ropes, a smidgen of barbed wire with their coke never hurt anybody.
Yeah. Now, well, maybe that's where he got that well from, like just doing well. Okay.
Road Warrior is definitely my all-time favorite tag team.
Oh God, yeah. We speaking of Ming, we were talking about John Wick earlier before we went on air. And there's a gentleman that you highly admire, like you look up to. I'm really bad with names, but like the gentleman that Donnie Yen, like the guy like that trained Bruce Lee. The
Well, the
true
character
pioneer.
that he plays in Ip Man trained Bruce Lee. Donnie Yen is just a martial artist on his own.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
I got confused. But okay, so Donnie Yen versus Ming, who would win?
Donnie Yen.
Really?
He would destroy him.
Do you think Ming would put up a fight at
No.
all? Okay.
Donnie Yen is a whole other level.
I got you.
He's a whole other level, and that's not to discount Ming's toughness. Donnie Yen is a whole other level, man. I don't think it would even be a fair fight.
I got you.
He's so insanely good, and he's just that good of a martial artist. Now, if Ming was able to withstand some of those shots, maybe I don't know though, but that would sure be interesting. I'm sure Ming probably wouldn't go down too easy.
Hold on. Is Dusty already busted?
Dusty looks like he's already busted here, I think. Let's get a close-up of his face.
You called 4 minutes, right?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he's bleeding. he's bleeding down his face.
Do you think that's where Cody got that from?
It's a Rhodes thing. Dustin did it all the time, too.
Jesus Christ.
That's all they ever do. I think he's bleeding already.
Fucking Cody would get done like with his entrance in fucking AEW.
And he's gushing right from his forehead. Somebody blinked at Dustin wrong, and he had a crimson mask.
Flair was bad for it too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Dusty's definitely bleeding already.
Do you think, speaking of Cody, do you think Tony Khan will let Dustin show up at Mania to celebrate with his brother?
I don't think so. I don't think Dustin will go.
Do you think that's a shame? Do you think that's a shame?
No, I understand it from his perspective. Like if he didn't want to, maybe he would. I don't know. I don't think so though. It's like if it was like a Hall of Fame thing, I'm sure you'd let him go easily. But not
Dustin's going to the Hall of Fame.
He's definitely going in. I think he would definitely let it happen. Oh, the mask got knocked off a Hawk now.
Hawk.
Road Warriors and Dusty picked up the victory here, but the powers of pain are beating down Animal right now in his head. So he must have been selling some type of injury or something like that.
Especially, I mean, considering the star power, this match was dog shit bad. There are really no redeemable qualities to this match. I hate saying that because I love Dusty, but
it was a fight. It was a street fight style, of course, with the barbed wire and everything. It was just quick, and the crowd was into it really.
But this was better.
Yeah, it came out good. Chris froze there for a second. Let me kick him off here and see if he can come back on. He's caught up here in internet hell here for a second, folks. Yeah, I think the match served its purpose. It wasn't anything great or anything like that, but it definitely, wasn't awful. It was a little ugly, but I think it served its purpose enough to make it worth it. And then they're continuing on with this feud here, it looks like, with the powers of pain and the Road Warriors. So, quick match, though. Nikita Koloff in a special interview. Daniel says Dustin can't be there unless it's to acknowledge his tribal chief. Daniel, who do you think picks up the victory this weekend? Do you think Cody or Roman is picking it up? Who do you got for it? Chris thinks Cody's a lock to do it. I'm not so sure. I think maybe the tribal chief might hold on to the belt, but I don't know. Daniel says, it was good for what it was. When you're as over as Dusty and the Warriors, you should work smart, not hard. Agreed, Daniel, no doubt. Freaking Tony Schiavone and Jim Ross so young here. It's so kind of surreal to see these two. Just so young, and it's amazing that they're still going to this day. More power to them. Those old microphones, folks, man. I think the 1,000 days thing too, Daniel, is the thing. Cody definitely could do it. He is in a perfect spot, but that 1,000 days, I think they want that 1,000 days just to be able to say that, he was able to hold on to it that long. That's why I think maybe they will, but I know he wants a break and maybe he was going to do some Hollywood stuff. I don't know. Cody could definitely pick up the victory for sure. Nikita Koloff is here, right here. I love how much he played into this gimmick. I love his Russian impersonation here that he did. He's jazzed up in that suit too. What's he got there? All right, he's got a poster that says "Get high on sports, not drugs." Okay, I don't know what the point of putting that was out in this interview, folks. This Nikita interview here is definitely not the greatest, though. He sure played his he sure played his gimmick up real good, though, folks. I'll tell you that. He put everything into it. He even legally changed his name to Nikita Koloff for this. Nikita challenging Dr. Death for the cleanest outfit. And, you know, they probably got paid pretty darn good money, too, Daniel, to be here tonight. And just come up and show up in a suit and some cool threads for Dr. Death there, that jacket. Woo! The fans in the back there, you can see them here. They are waiting for this next match out. They are sure excited about this card, though, folks. This has been a pretty good show so far. Really good. I really like that tag match. Opening one was definitely not bad at all. Good ending to it with Precious and Jimmy Garvin, the whole varsity club. This match was short and sweet. Not necessarily the greatest match, but served its purpose. And then we still got two more matches. Main event's going to be Flair versus Sting. And hopefully we get a winner. Let's see.
Brother, I'm sorry about that. The internet box rebooted. Spectrum, I love you for the most part, guys, but like you do your updates at the oddest fucking times.
Well, it is almost midnight on the East Coast here, so
yeah, that's true. Okay,
they probably hit it at that point.
All right, so what's your timestamp?
Timestamp is 45 minutes and 20 seconds.
All right.
I love the old feel and look of this show too, Daniel. I think it's great, man. It really is. The crowd is just into it. I love these
the graphics,
wrestling markets.
Dude, these graphics are great.
Oh, yeah.
With like the side of the belt showing on the screen, all that stuff. I love it.
This should be a good one here with Tully and Arn coming up.
Oh, I love it. Tully, you talk about someone that, with all due respect, I love Tully, but he completely derailed his career by bad choices.
Yeah.
Tully, dude, I think that Tully should have been at a minimum like the United States champion. I think, or
a TV title run, I believe.
Well, yeah, but I think, or he should have been a upper lower mid card. Wait, a lower main eventer.
He kind of was at some points in the 80s, though, Chris.
Do you think that he should have at least got like one world title run?
No, I don't think necessarily for that, but he was definitely up there with like some upper, high upper mid card feuds. You know, maybe not main event all the time, but
I got you.
His feud with Magnum TA was fantastic.
Yes, I agree with that. Oh, dude, Lex.
Look at Lex and Barry here. Barry Windham is a guy that we don't talk a lot about on the show. No. Another guy that if you ever watch his matches, makes everybody fucking look good.
Oh yeah. Ric Flair has said on many occasions Barry Windham is the most naturally gifted wrestler he's ever been in the ring with.
Tanya says, Tully gathered heat like no tomorrow, in and out of the ring, so crisp.
I agree. And apparently Tully was a huge inspiration for Shawn Michaels.
I believe it.
So yeah.
I would definitely believe that right there, Chris. I could see that all 100%. Tully was kind of his own worst enemy for many years, though, and kind of brought Arn down with him a couple times from what it seemed and what has been discussed through the years. But it seemed like he really got his life together shortly after he left wrestling, and it was nice to see him get another opportunity for a couple of years over there in AEW.
Without a doubt, and Tully, honestly, wrestling would be like his legacy, like the most people. Don't get me wrong, but the fact is that he gave his life to God, and he's helping so many people in so many ways, like with his life experience. So it wasn't wasted with his mistakes. God let him. He had those mistakes so he could help others not make them. So it wasn't wasted. So
he seems like a real crotchety old guy, though, at certain points, though.
Really?
Like, just like to me, it seems that way. I know he probably was in his early years a lot, especially with things going on. He looks like he could. I'm not saying he is this way, but it just looks like it. And maybe that's how good of he sells his character, probably. You know how he was things. but he looks like he could be a member of the Greg Valentine Club of Misery.
Oh God. Well,
but I'm not saying that's how he is. I'm just saying that may have been how good he was at portraying his gimmick.
and the crazy part about it is that his daughter, in my opinion, is the second best female performer in the world. But unfortunately, her attitude and her shitty choices have basically gotten her blackballed by any major company.
Nobody will touch her with a 10-foot pole.
No, and she's so. You can't tell me that I'm wrong, though, dude. She is so damn good in the ring.
She's phenomenal. That's for sure. She just can't keep her shit together. Daniel said he was there the night the Horsemen got inducted into Miami. Out of all of them, he was most excited to see Tully after he'd been gone for so long. Yeah, I don't think a lot of people thought Tully would come after, the way he left the business and maybe some of the ways he left the wrestling business. That maybe a lot of people, it was probably hard for them to imagine Tully, actually accepting it and being welcome there. I mean, he didn't leave on the best of terms from what I've heard with the WWE all those years back.
No. Basically, Arn left to go back to WCW, and then apparently what happened, from my understanding, whenever he left, he failed a drug test
for cocaine.
For coke, and that's what led to his contract being voided, like within a World Championship Wrestling. And basically, that's what led to Paul Roma becoming a Horseman.
Lord help us all for that one, because
come on,
if there's
Tully.
anybody that shouldn't have been a fucking Horseman, it was Paul Roma.
Seriously, Tully was a coke that important to where we had to be exposed to Paul Roma.
Seriously, it was short lived, but it was what he might have some heat with us for having to experience that. Look at Barry Windham go here.
So damn good.
Windham
beautiful.
is just phenomenal.
Dude,
the best clothesline ever in wrestling is Barry Windham's lariat.
I'll give you that. A close second, Bradshaw.
Bradshaw's great. I'll say
Stan Hansen.
Stan Hansen was great. I'll say this though. Jake the Snake Roberts, short arm clothesline that he would do was number 2 for me.
Beautiful. And Jake was so damn talented. He invented one of the most used moves in wrestling, which is the DDT. So yes.
Jake Roberts. Daniel said if any Horseman ever joined Greg Valentine's House of Misery, it's Ole Anderson.
Oh my God.
Good point, Daniel.
Ole is probably one of the main Horsemen that I have no respect for at all, because
he just looks like a fucking dick.
Yeah. Well,
there's not many people that have nice stories to tell that were in the business at that time about Ole Anderson.
Whenever Teddy Long and Ron Simmons say that you are an old, crotchety, racist son of a bitch, then that speaks to your character. So for me, I have no.
Ole has a little bit of clout with me for one reason.
How?
Okay, hear me out. He's got a little bit for one reason. First, 2 reasons. Let me go back to 2 reasons here. One was he did the Shockmaster's voice, and you could hear him audibly laughing when he went through the fucking wall. And you could hear him cracking up over it, which I think is phenomenal, because that just shows you they can get that miserable bastard to laugh. So he does have somewhat of a sense of humor. And the number 2 one, the reason that he has a little bit of clout with me is because of what he did to Dave Meltzer. So
hold on, what do you do, Dave Meltzer?
Look it up on YouTube later on for yourself and just enjoy it. And he called Dave Meltzer out, and Dave Meltzer almost shit his fucking pants on the recording and just wanted nothing to do with it.
Oh, that's great.
He fucking put Dave Meltzer in his place.
Speaking of Dave Meltzer, I was watching a thing on YouTube with Al Snow. And Al, speaking of great workers, a shout out to Al Snow.
He says that Dave is the greatest worker of all time.
That's correct, because he was able to convince millions of people that he knew what the fuck he was talking about, when in actuality he has no clue. So yeah.
And he's made probably tens of millions of dollars off of it, I would bet.
Oh yeah. He's like the Donald Trump of wrestling. I said it.
He's worked everybody all those years and made millions of dollars off of it. Good for him, at least.
Oh yeah, well yeah. Like if if people are dumb enough to believe what the guy's got to say, that's on them.
Daniel says Dave shits his pants when a schoolgirl knocks on his door to sell Girl Scout cookies.
Oh my God. Did you see what a mess Dave Meltzer's office is?
It's
the picture's
fucking awful. All right. Now, the picture itself bothers me so much for just a multitude of reasons.
Because you're OCD. I know you are.
Yes, you know it. There's a little hidden secret there about me, as I'm OCD. So I have obsessive compulsive habits of some things, and one of them is with cleanliness and order.
If someone
I would
sprinkles dirt on the floor, you will freak out,
bro. My house, you could eat off the floors. That's how clean it is. So.
Because I first noticed it because whenever me and you met back in the summer, we were in the store and you were saying this with your eyes. You were looking at the floors and you were looking at like the displays just to see whether like they were set up decently and like not a fucking mess.
No.
So yeah, you're the
same type his office pictures make me have anxiety just to look at it. I'm like, how could you do that? Beautiful suplex type of move there from Barry Windham.
Oh, great selling by everybody. So yeah.
Lex hasn't been in the ring here much, though, which I think was very smart because Lex was very green to the business at this point still.
He was very limited at this point.
I mean, think of what a smart move it was to team him up with a veteran at this point and well-respected worker and a guy that could probably wrestle with anybody and make him look good with Barry Windham. Really smart decision probably to team them up for a reason so he could probably learn some different techniques there from Barry Windham. And I think too later on when you look at him when they paired him up with the Horsemen and stuff as well. Yeah. Think about all the great workers that were in the Horsemen, Arn, Tully, Rick. Come on.
Oh, without a doubt. I think Barry is a horseman through and through. I would say Lex is a horseman. Some people might not like me saying that, but I think Lex, he fit in well. And it's similar to like the way that one of like my favorite stables of all time, which is Evolution. You had the veteran, you had the guy that was the current star, you had the enforcer. And then you had the guy that's like the coal that's going to be turned into the diamond. Lex was that with the Horsemen while he was in there. He was basically.
Go ahead, Chris.
He was basically like the Randy Orton of that group. Not saying that he's as talented as Randy because I love Lex, but Randy's in a different league. But still, when it came to like the way the Horsemen was set up. Each wrestler had their purpose in that case.
No, excellent points. Daniel said Barry could go easily 60 minutes, then give Lex a hot tag and make him look like $1 million.
Oh, without a doubt.
The Adam Cole, baby.
Baby. Oh, speaking of great
let's
workers.
give credit to somebody else here in the ring here that is just selling his ass off right now.
Arn?
Once again, Arn Anderson.
Oh, Arn's phenomenal.
There's not many people that can sell like Arn Anderson.
I love Arn to death. So damn good in the ring. You talk about somebody that can go 60 minutes, man. Fucking Arn could probably do it three times on Saturdays and 5 times on Sundays, man. Arn was a damn workhorse. And you talk about somebody that should be in the Hall of Fame by himself.
100%.
Arn, definitely.
I know he's in there with the Horsemen, but by himself, he should definitely be in there.
Oh, without a doubt.
Arn Anderson is just so damn good. And if anybody's, new to watching this old school stuff or checking out things, just check out some of Arn Anderson's work from the 80s.
God.
In the 90s.
Is it wrong for me to say that his work was damn near perfect? I mean, just
pretty damn close most of the time. Unless you're the Renegade, and even he couldn't have a match with the Renegade. I think somebody asked him one time, would you rather get something crazy like that nobody would want to get done to him, or would you rather have a match with the Renegade? And he said, I'll pick the other. Having the Renegade is the worst experience of my life. Boom! Look at that, new champs here,
dude. The crowd is going banana right now.
Boy, they're going nuts for them,
dude. That woman with that green dress, man, she is styling and profiling.
Dude, she is. What a hot crowd this is tonight, and boy, they're excited. What a great tag match that was too.
Why would you go to a wrestling show with a pantsuit? With like a suit like that with pantyhose on? I'm sorry.
I don't know. I wish I could give you an answer to that one, but
I'm going to wear my business outfit at the wrestling show.
These 2 tag matches tonight have been off the chain.
Excellent.
They have been just tremendous.
And to speaking of Renegades, which we call like a portion of our fans and Renegades here now. Now we are watching the matches, guys. We're just having a blast.
Arn looked around and said, "Who's the renegade?"
Now, who do you think Arn would rather face, the Renegade or Ryback?
I think he'd probably take Ryback. And that's pretty ballsy to say that one right there.
Oh my
Ryback
God.
Was pretty bad too.
Speaking of old crotchety people, I mean, is it me or do you think that CM Punk he's turned into an old bitter jackass? I'm sorry, but yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely got a personality on him that probably isn't very likable to most people.
I mean, he's smart with how he handles his business, and he's rich as shit, and he's still getting paid for sitting at home. It's smart on his part, but the fact is I hear all these fans saying, "Oh, I want him back." It's like, why?
I'll say one thing though about CM Punk. I don't think CM Punk gives two shits about his fans at all. I don't think he cares. I think CM Punk is about CM Punk, and I don't blame him for that. You know, some people are like that. You can't fault him for that, but I don't think he cares at all about the fans. I still am a fan of his work. I think he's a tremendous performer, and I always love watching him. But I definitely don't think he really cares too much about what people think, and he really probably doesn't care too much for his fans. I think he cares about CM Punk.
Which I think there's only one
He just wants people to get off his lawn.
Yeah, basically. And I think there's only one person that sees his soft side, and that's AJ Lee.
Look at this fucking group of judges here. Is that Wayne from the Wonder Years?
Yes.
Jason Hervey?
Yes, Jason Hervey. What happened to him and Bischoff?
I don't know. Bischoff's never commented on it. Okay, this is who they got. Gary Jester from the NWA Board of Directors. Sandy Scott, a former Penthouse pet. Patty Mullen or something.
Did you ever
Sandy Scott or Patty Mullen?
We're men here. I mean, and within like our younger days, we looked at certain things. Were you a fan of Penthouse at all?
I've seen them in the past, but I never was like a huge fan of it or anything.
Okay, for me, which I was more of like a Playboy guy. I'll be honest. You know, beautiful women and good articles. Yes, I actually did read the articles.
Nothing says judges like a Penthouse pet, Wayne from the Wonder Years, and Eddie Haskell from Leave It to Beaver.
Dude, I love it.
Man, I'm telling you.
This theme song sounds like the Ultimate Warriors.
It kind of does.
Yeah.
I don't ever remember this.
Did the WWE copy this? Think about
Ultimate Warrior, I think, was already around at this point.
Oh, he was? Okay.
He might have been, yeah. I mean, they weren't the Blade Runners together.
Yeah.
No, it's like got a little bit of the beat and the guitar there from the Ultimate Warrior, but the rest is kind of unique to me.
I gotcha.
It's like a country rock there with a little bit of metal with the guitar.
This is probably his worst theme.
I would agree.
But I loved his theme. Man called Sting!
Yes.
God, that's awesome.
I love Sting's entrance songs always.
Woo!
Well, of course, Rick's coming out to this one.
And I know, which I've had like a couple people message me because apparently they didn't like a perspective me and you had from a few shows ago. Whenever we both said we feel like Ric Flair is one of the most overrated wrestlers in the history of the business. Do you care to respond to that?
He's one of the most overrated people in the business, in my opinion. I'll say it again.
Because
you like him, great. I'm not saying he's a bad worker. I think he did phenomenal things and, did his stuff. I still think he's overrated.
I think with all due respect to Rick, you've seen one match, you've seen them all.
Agreed. I'm not degrading the things that he's done. He's made a hell of a career. He's an icon and legend to people, but I still think he's overrated.
And Rick's made a lot of money for fellow wrestlers, and he's helped people make a living, and I will not ever discount that. But just the matches, they all look the same to me.
That cage is tiny, man, for him. Look at that.
Yeah.
Daniel even says it. He goes, "What are you supposed to do? Grow out of this? Damn." JJ's getting hung over in the shark cage there.
Wait. Are those paint cans?
Paint cans on the side of it for weight?
You just read my mind. The fucking paint cans.
They couldn't have done better than that. Wow. That must have been a fucking budget snafu or something at this point. They're literally fucking taking like paint cans of some sorts.
Straight up, this show's been great. I'm so
I'm
glad.
blown away by this. Look at that.
Dude, paint cans. That's awesome.
It's paint cans or those buckets of tar that, you used to get the buckets of tar if you wanted to tar, your asphalt or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Boy, they couldn't have found something better than that to weigh down the shark cage.
I guess not. The second best looking world title belt ever.
It's a
right
beauty.
there.
Daniel says you've seen one Ric Flair match. You've seen them all. One stewardess sees a Ric Flair helicopter. All of them have seen it.
Speaking of being a pervert, anyways, Vince McMahon, did you hear the news? He had to pay the WWE back $17 million.
Bro, $17 million to Vince McMahon is like $100 to any of us, all right?
Must be nice.
He'd wipe his ass with $17 million. He don't care. Dude, look at Wayne over there from the Wonder Years. What a dope. I love him in the Wonder Years, though. He's such a dope, though.
Well, speaking of Wonder Years, ladies and gentlemen, me and John, we're working on something that's involving the Wonder Years, which I'm stoked about, which this year will more than likely debut. So I'm excited.
It was one of my favorite shows from the 80s and 90s.
Oh, yeah. Without a doubt. Speaking of Fred's brother, Ben, is running for office in California.
Corey Matthews is running for a political office?
Yep.
What is he running for?
He is a Democrat running for, I think he's running for Senate in his local district.
Oh, well, good for him. I hope he wins it there for old Corey Matthews.
And of course,
17 million on women. Those have better been the best looking women ever.
Oh God, yeah. And the thing about it is, no offense, I don't understand all these rich and powerful people like to have to pay women. Because no offense, me and you, let's say we were single, we wouldn't have to pay for anything because we're fairly good looking, and
I
we
think
actually
it was hush money though, just to keep quiet.
But what?
Because he was married, right? They're celebrities. They don't want people to know about their relationships or whatever.
Then don't fuck around. I don't get
agree.
it.
I don't believe in cheating. So Vince sure did though. Daniel says Ben just has to remember his underpants.
Underpants.
I love Boy Meets World. What a show.
Besides Corey, my favorite character was Mr. Feeney.
He's great. I'm a Topanga guy though. She was hot.
Whew, she was one of my crushes. Her and Winnie. Winnie
Sting
Cooper
looked good here, Chris.
Oh yeah, he did.
What a look he had. That rat tail in the back is so fucking 80s.
But still, I mean, Sting looks like a badass. I really have nothing but the utmost love and respect for Sting. I think Sting is an absolute legend. He's still going to this day, and he's still giving to the business. And you see Darby Allin, which I don't know whether you've seen his most recent promo, but Darby has grown so much since having Sting being his mentor.
And I hope not though with having somebody like Sting helping you out. Yeah,
one of the greatest ever. I would say the Mount Rushmore of World Championship Wrestling, Sting's definitely on it.
For WCW? Oh no, absolutely.
He's the first one
for WCW. He's probably, if I was for my favorite wrestlers of all time, Sting's in the top 10.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, he'd probably be in the top 10. Probably close to 5. He'd be in there. I'd have to say Hogan, for sure. Hogan number 1 for me. I mean, it's a hard choice here.
Oh yeah,
I would probably go Macho as number 2.
Oh yeah,
probably Bret Hart number 3. Ricky Steamboat 4. As crazy as it sounds,
yeah.
Brad Armstrong number 5. I just love Brad Armstrong, as everybody knows. He was
Brad's
great.
Amazing.
I mean, I know I'm missing people here, but just Sting's probably right up there, and right around that 5 mark. I mean, I really have to put it together, but because there's so many great people through the years that you could put in there. Eddie Guerrero's in my top 10 too.
Eddie's in my top 5, so yes,
and it's a good choice if you have him. Sting was Mr. WCW though. When talk about a guy that could have walked out on him
Loyal.
probably at certain points. He was as loyal as can be to them.
Always. Sting was so loyal to WCW that even after they went out of business, all because of The Rock saying a comment about Booker T on air, that caused Sting not to sign with the WWF after they went out of business. That. Yeah, because apparently there was a promo in the summer of 2001, like the build up to the SummerSlam match between Booker T and The Rock. And apparently Sting was watching from home and he was in negotiations with the WWF actually. And apparently what happened was The Rock was going back and forth like with Booker T, and Booker was talking, and The Rock said, "Who the hell are you?" And Sting's like right there. Okay, so if they're going to disrespect a legend like Booker T, why the hell should I even go? And that right there was the thing like that stopped him from negotiating with them, and that eventually led like a couple of years later to his run in TNA.
I'll never in a million years understand WWE when they brought him in and had him lose to Triple H. I'll never get that.
Terrible booking. Great build-up.
Look at the strength on Sting, man. Wow. He just
beautiful
picked Flair up for the Gorilla Slam like it was nothing. Look at that nice aerial move there.
Excellent. Great hip toss. Beautiful over.
Imagine how much better Sting got, to be honest with you, though, working this main event stuff that he was doing with Flair for so long.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, and Flair's move sets are limited. It's the same match almost all the time, but Flair is still a really crisp worker in the ring.
Oh, yeah, he is. And Sting's given Flair a ton of credit for his development and becoming the star that he became. He said that this feud with Flair right here is what gave him the confidence to realize that he is a main eventer. So, yeah, you can give Flair like a crap ton of credit for helping these workers, but it's whenever Flair wanted to, because certain workers, from what they said Flair would do business while he was on camera, but he was a jackass behind the scenes. I don't know how true that is. I'm just going by what people have said. So, yeah.
These feuds at this time in WCW would last forever. If they started a feud, that thing was usually going for at least a year, maybe longer.
When done right,
more long-term story arcs, of course.
When done right, it's a beautiful thing to watch. Look at the thing with Sami Zayn recently. I mean, do you think that it's been done to perfection? I mean, when it comes to long-term storytelling.
Hold on 1 second here. Daniel said Sting was brought in not only for that Triple H match, but then that became secondary as Triple H and Stephanie get involved with Ronda and The Rock that night. It was like, oh, Sting lost next. Yeah. It really just, to me, seeing it years later, that was one of the few WrestleManias I did not see live. I did not watch it that year because I was out. I was out of commission at that point, out of town, so I wasn't able to see it till afterwards. And I remember like checking it out later on when I saw that Sting had lost, and I was like, they just brushed it under the carpet there, like it didn't even matter the match with him after at the end. It was so silly to me.
I think honestly they were punishing Sting.
I think they were punishing him, but I think they definitely wanted to make themselves look bigger even after all those years, which is absolutely crazy to me.
I think they were saying, all right, Sting, we're going to pay you this big contract, but yeah, you didn't want to play ball with us within like the early 2000s, then okay, we're not going to let you win. And the thing is that I know some fans out there are like, well, wins and losses don't matter. Yes, they do in certain circumstances when building somebody. Not that Sting needed to be builded, but Sting was he was on a new platform that was completely different than the World Championship Wrestling, because this is the thing, guys. You still did have the diehard WWE fans that really didn't watch World Championship Wrestling. So you bring in somebody, Sting, you build him up as a legend, and it's just one of those things where it's like, well, he lost, so why is he that big of a deal? So it did make a huge difference in his presentation, and that was a huge mistake, and they should have had him won. Just saying.
I agree. I think he should have won.
So,
I think it was a huge miss on their part with that. I mean, I always would have loved to have seen Sting in there earlier. You know, I know he had a great run in TNA or Impact Wrestling, whatever you want to call it. I know he had a great run in there, but I still would have loved to have seen Sting throughout in those way before that over there. But he would have just got lost in the shuffle, I'm sure.
And Sting was a big, huge catalyst for the success of TNA during their biggest years. So that was a blessing within disguise because there's so many younger wrestlers that got the opportunities to be exposed to a bigger crowd, Spike TV.
Mm-hmm.
And they became stars, and they're working for the WWE now. Like they're working for AEW, and they're making buku bucks because wrestlers like Sting, they decided to say, "Hey, let me go to like the smaller company and see what I can do." And so, dare I say, you got people like Robert Roode, you got people like Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, and which I can go on and on and on. Sting was a catalyst for the bigger audiences, like with the televisions, to just. I'm sorry, guys, which I'm not trying to go on and on, but Sting was a huge factor in these younger guys down the road getting the exposure that they got. So just saying.
Definitely made a lot of people. Daniel mentions a very great point here. He says you had a lot of WCW fans who never came back either once WWF won the Monday Night Wars.
Yep.
1,000%. And, you know, Sting could have been a guy, if they could have got him earlier, that could have probably drawn some of those people back that wanted to see one of their favorite guys in WCW back.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I think it was a missed opportunity, you know, I think it was a missed opportunity for both parties, for Sting and for them. But he did have a hell of a run in Impact nonetheless.
Oh, yeah, he did. And I think the fans that felt like they were lost in the shuffle, that's where the Impact Wrestling, they came into play. And you had a ton of lapsed fans that loved World Championship Wrestling, like that went to TNA saying, hey, this is very similar to what I'm used to. So this is my company now. And you've seen like the first, you've seen like the older stuff of it.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like World Championship Wrestling from 1998, from 99, and from 2000, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. In a lot of ways it did. Daniel says Flair is looking kind of hydrated tonight. It's nice to see.
Oh.
All right, so here's a question as we're watching this match with Flair. Who's Sting's biggest feud that he ever had? Was it Ric Flair or was it Hulk Hogan?
Oh.
It's a hard question, right?
Longevity-wise, I would say Flair because it lasted so long, but that doesn't necessarily mean quality.
Mm-hmm.
I think as in terms of quality feud, Hogan, hands down. That was the biggest buildup in the history of the company. That was the biggest feud in the history of the company. It did their biggest sale. I mean, like their biggest pay-per-view buy ever.
Mm-hmm.
It reinvigorated Sting's career. I mean, it did so many things because think about it. If that wouldn't have happened, would Sting have been able to reinvent himself like he did and last as long as he's lasted? So I think it was the feud with Hogan was extremely pivotal and way more important. You, John?
I would agree with everything you said there. On paper, of course, Sting and Flair feuded so much through the years. They were this big WCW feud for years. But I think Hogan was his greatest feud because, as you mentioned, Sting was getting kind of flat in about 95, 96, and they needed to kind of find something different for him. And that whole thing that they did with the Crow gimmick, he's had that gimmick longer than anything, you know?
Oh, yeah, yes.
And that was all just a beautiful idea that was Scott Hall threw out to them for it and turned into this amazing storyline arc for, 15, 16 months?
Oh, yeah.
And that's why I got to say, I got to go with Hogan. I think Hogan is his biggest feud of all time for that reason right there. But like you said, longevity-wise, in regards to how long it actually, they feuded through the years, definitely was Flair in there. But overall, to me, Hogan is his biggest feud of all time.
The impact of it. And the beautiful thing is like with our Monday Night War watch-along series, we are right in the thick of the build for Sting and for Hogan. So, like, it's just fun to watch every single week. And later on this year, we're going to be watching Starrcade. So we're going to see like the culmination of like the build up. Don't get me wrong. The ending of the match, what the fuck?
I think we'll probably get to the end of it sometime early in 2024. I don't think we'll hit it this year because we're in May right now.
Yeah.
And we got about 7 months to go till Starrcade.
Okay.
About a year, I think, will probably be to that culmination point, a little under a year.
Okay.
Take us to get with the way that we do it by splitting Raw. So I think we're going to be hitting that early in 2024, which I can't wait to go back and keep rewatching some of that stuff like we've been doing to go back and relive it because
it's been fun.
Oh, it's just a blast. Even if the show sucks on paper, or if it sucks with some of the cards, it's still fun. And the Sting stuff just makes it tremendous. And I can't wait till they get to. They're just starting to really highlight Sting a lot now. So I think that from everything I remember, it really starts heating up here in the summer.
And do you know what I like? The genius of what they're doing with Sting right now, like with what we're watching, is that they're building him up as such a badass guy that Sting could show up, and then you got like the whole group of the NWO backing up, scared because they're like, "Holy shit!"
One guy backs up 10 of them all the time. Yeah.
So
it's a cool thing. Daniel mentions a good point, though. He says, not a bad time for Sting, taking almost a year and a half off from not having to compete and making some nice paydays. Not a bad time for Stinger.
Oh, yeah, like without a doubt.
Think about how much that might have added longevity onto his career, too, Chris.
Oh, yeah, like without a doubt. Because he could potentially got hurt. And, yeah. And
he was such a smart worker in his older years, Chris. Like, that's why he can do what he does now. Other than that awful buckle bomb by Rollins there, I don't remember hearing any major injuries for him, from his early years in WCW when he tore his knee out.
I think that honestly, because like a lot of people, they want to be hard on Seth Rollins. I think that was just a freak accident. I mean, and don't get me wrong,
intentional. He shouldn't have been taking that move at his age, though.
No, I agree,
1,000%.
But Sting wanted to make Seth look good, so he did it, and I understand. But yeah, for like the fans out there that don't like Seth, because come on. Well, whenever Sting says that it wasn't a big deal and that it was an honest freak accident, then you should say, all right, Seth. And Seth is one of the safest, most smoothest workers out there.
You got to give these two credit right here, Chris.
Oh, beautiful.
Sorry to interrupt here. You got to give these two some credit here. They've been going for about 20 minutes now, and neither of them looks like they're even tired.
What do you think JJ is thinking right now?
JJ's like, get me out of this fucking Shark Tank type looking piece of shit. This paint buckets ain't gonna hold my fat ass up here much longer.
Oh God,
come on. He's got about 30 minutes to go left in this, from what it seems.
Which I could see Ole like with a shotgun shooting one of the sides of the thing,
laughing after he knocked it off.
Yeah.
Fucker took my spot in the Horseman. He'll know.
Oh yeah. And then one of like the cords holding up the tank, so like JJ's swinging back and forth. What the fuck is going on? But yeah,
boy, Sting is just on fire here tonight.
Oh yeah, he is, dude. Like the fans are going nuts. Speaking of nuts, atomic drop.
Nice atomic drop there. Daniel says JJ is thinking, I hope they went to Sherman-Williams for the expensive paint. I love it.
Oh yeah. Hey, we can give a shout out to Walmart. Like they got some good paint.
I went to Walmart today.
Holy shit. You did?
I went to Walmart today. It's the first time I've been to Walmart in probably 2 years, I would think. Right around there.
Because I know how much you. Let's just peel back the curtain. You can't stand Walmart. I know you can't.
I'm not a big fan. I never have been, and I respect Walmart, and I know you love working there, and I respect that too, and I think it's great. I just don't like big crowds like that in stores. So it's like there's always so many people. It's nothing against Walmart, but I went in there today, and it wasn't that bad of an experience.
Good.
It wasn't. It was not that bad of an experience. And I might go back there this week, actually, because there's a 75-inch television I want to buy.
What do they got it on sale for?
It's a Vizio 4K that they have, and I think it was $700.
Oh, they ain't bad. They ain't bad at all.
75 inches, it ain't bad at all.
No,
So
because like
I need a new TV for the living room. It's about time.
Because like right now we got a 55-inch on sale for like $488 at our store.
They had
So,
even
yeah.
cheaper ones than that, like 65s that were like $400, but they were like fucking shit brands, like Hisense or something like that.
Hisense.
Sorry,
But-
I ain't gonna do a Hisense TV or a Westinghouse television.
No, like that shit like will go out.
They could take
Quick.
that shit box and keep it to themselves because I don't want that.
Because I got Samsungs for mine.
Samsungs are great. I have one in my bedroom.
Yeah,
I have a Vizio too, though. It's just older.
Vizios are great too.
75 inches, Daniel says, of watching the Goon. Good call, brother.
Just imagine, yeah.
Thank you. You go to hell, you drunken bastard. Thank you. That might be one of my favorite clips all time that I've ever seen.
Thank you, you drunk bastard.
I just loved Hannibal fucking calling him out at the end of it, and then him just in his drunken state. Thank you.
With all due respect, Hannibal ain't one to talk.
No, he's not, but it was pretty great, though.
I know.
Hey, Chris, my computer's going to restart here, too, for its nightly update. So if I get knocked off, I'll be back as soon as it comes back on.
How many minutes?
I have no idea how long it'll take. Probably 2 minutes or 3 minutes.
No,
It's going to sign me out in 2 minutes.
All right. Let me go grab my drink real quick, and I'll be back. All right, I'm back in like 30 seconds.
All right, buddy. I'll cover it till you get back. Yeah, I love these patch updates late at night. Looks like 25 minutes remaining. They just said on the time clock here, folks, because they would put time limits, for these matches. This is how they, kept a lot of these feuds going for a long period of time. Was these time limits that they would put on them and have a lot of time limit draws. So that way it was able to kind of keep the feud going and going for a long time. You don't see that anymore, though, I don't think. Maybe AEW does it. I don't watch AEW, but I think maybe on some of the titles they might have it, but I could be wrong. I don't ever hear them doing any time limits anymore. Daniel, you watch AEW. You tell me, is there any of the belts that have a time limit on them? Sting to the outside now, getting thrown out there. No padding on those floors, folks. That's all straight concrete right there. 25 minutes remaining. JJ has to go potty. Someone get him a paint bucket. Bring one of those big buckets up there, man. He's going to have to pee that good to probably fill one of those up. The fans are like standing on their feet here, though, folks. If you're not checking this out for yourself, they are really, really into this for the most part. Really hot crowd tonight. Really good shows so far. Very enjoyable. Love the old school feel once again to this show. It's absolutely tremendous. Greensboro, total wrestling city. All right, not really. Okay, yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know if they did it for that Mid-Atlantic title that they just renamed into something else. I didn't know if they were trying to do that with it. Even the Iron Man went over. It's crazy to think that this was his first real big match, right, Daniel? It really is. And, I mean, of course, it worked out pretty damn well for
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Apparently, John got knocked off. It's all right because the stuttering butter mother is absolutely back. We're going to here to have some fun, ladies and gentlemen. He's doing an update. Sorry. I had to go grab a drink. I am parched. I'm thirsty, baby. I'm thirsty. I'm a thirsty man. But we're here to have some fun. We're here to watch like the Clash of Champions right now. We got Ric Flair versus Sting. Absolutely great match going on so far. I had to grab my Gatorade. I apologize. Oh, shit. Come on. All right. So here we go. And like right now, we got Ric Flair. He's got an arm bar on Sting. He's like, woo, baby, woo. Look at my blonde hair. I'm going to be doing a match at 70 plus years old because I need the money. I'm going to be dehydrated. I'm going to be drunk. How you doing, baby? All right. Ric Flair is bumping like those lines did for the East W locker room. Amen to that. Anyways. Oh, yeah. I'm going to do like a little bit of some inside baseball with you guys. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be truthful. I'm a straight shooter on a lot of stuff. You guys know this. I'm an open book. I don't lie. I don't cheat. I don't steal. I don't know that stuff. And me and John, we were talking about actually doing a watch-along series to ECW Hardcore TV. So I told him, I said, go check out like the first couple weeks of it. Let me know what you think. And let's do it. And he watched like the first couple weeks of it, and he said, honestly, I can't do it. So, yeah, because the thing is that, guys, me and John, we respect a lot of the talent within ECW, but the overall product, we just weren't the biggest fans of. So I'm just letting you know, it's one of those things where, like, with hindsight, you watched it growing up, you thought it was awesome, but now, like, you look at it with like your adult eyes and you're like, wait a minute, the product wasn't necessarily the greatest. I mean, because it had great matches, it had great moments, but like the overall product when it comes to like the shows, when it comes to like the fluidity of like the quality, it wasn't necessarily the greatest. So just saying. So that's partially why we chose to do Clash of Champions. All right, so Daniel said, plus with Peacock, it's not bad to watch it back then without all the edits. That's true. I agree 1,000%. And he said, Jarrett said about unrealistic expectations for that match. No, we just hope Flair would be a professional enough to not keep himself hydrated. I agree 1,000%. I think Flair completely shit all over the fans by not even showing up hydrated for the match. I personally didn't think the match should have happened. I thought it was ridiculous. I think it was a clear, a huge cash grab on the part of Flair because he knew people would show up to watch him. Now, the fact is that I think Flair should have retired after the WrestleMania match with Shawn Michaels. That was the perfect send-off. Like the following night on Monday Night Raw, like the retirement, everything excellent, perfectly done. But unfortunately, Flair, being Flair, when it comes to like his lavish lifestyle, his 14 wives, he spent more than what he had. So he had to go where he had to go to, like with TNA wrestling, with all that stuff. And then recently this shit with like the Ric Flair's last match. Now, like the show was decent, I'll be honest with you, for the most part. But unfortunately, the last match was complete fucking garbage. And it's not because of Jay Lethal. It's not because of Jeff Jarrett. It wasn't because of Andrade. It was mainly due to the fact that the guy the match was built around didn't fucking just wasn't there, man, when it came to trying his best and hell, at a minimum, being hydrated. I thought it was sad. All right, so Daniel said, I can't get into the edited music through half of the matches, Sandman and New Jack especially. I agree 1,000%. There are certain things that were special about ECW that you could only see while watching the original airings of them. And music was a big thing, like with the presentation. And unfortunately, with Peacock, because they don't have the rights to a lot of these songs, which honestly, I don't know how Paul Heyman got away with it, but good for him. And basically you have all like these generic redubs and it's fucking garbage. But yeah, so like that kind of really took me out of the experience with watching the old ECW shows as well, because yeah, music was a big part of the presentation. So yeah.
What's your timestamp at, Chris?
My timestamp is at 1:32:48. And I'll pause. So, okay, and now it's 1:32:51. So I'm paused right there. Just let me know when you're ready.
All right, give me 1 second. 1:32:51.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's do it, buddy.
All right, there we go.
All right, we're on to now.
And I was kind of rolling back the curtains, and which I was explaining how we partially got to why we chose the Clash of Champions. And I was saying that we were thinking about doing the ECW Hardcore TV, but you watched a couple. You watched one or two of the shows, and you kind of balked on the idea because, which I was explaining, that when it comes to like the product, they had great wrestlers, they had great matches, but like the shows themselves weren't put together very well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to watch.
It was really bad the first season of it. Like I watched several episodes. It was really bad. You should see Sandman's gimmick from the beginning. He was like this surfer guy that came out in a wetsuit.
Oh, was this whenever Jimmy Snuka was in it? And
he was like the inaugural champion of Eastern Championship Wrestling, but they had the Sandman out as like some champion that in the beginning, and they did like in the first episode they did like a 4-minute long music video to his highlights, and he was in a wetsuit and was acting like a surfer. It's some of the worst shit I've ever seen in my life. It's terrible.
You talk about somebody that recovered from a bad gimmick,
bro. It's bad. I thought he was one of the dynamic dudes, for a second, and then I was like, "Is that the Sandman?" And then at the end of it, they tell you it's the Sandman. I was like, "Well, I guess that's how he got his name, the Sandman."
Yeah. Speaking of shit gimmicks, I was watching a thing on Kane on the A&E specials that they've been doing. Fantastic, by the way. And Kane, I don't agree with his politics whatsoever, and nor do you. I think the guy, with all due respect, with his views on that, he's completely out of touch. But when it comes to wrestling and his gimmicks and all that, and everything he had to overcome, I have nothing but the utmost respect for the guy. The fact is that one bad gimmick normally kills somebody's career. Kane had a lot of them, and he still stuck it out.
Yeah, he still turned it around.
Do you think Kane had the greatest debut of all time?
No.
One of the greatest.
Maybe. It was really good. I don't think it was I don't think it was the greatest, but it was really good.
I got you.
I'd have to think on it, but I wouldn't put it up there.
Now, when it comes to feuds, do you think the Undertaker and Kane feud was the best story of the Attitude Era?
No.
You don't think it was? Okay.
No, not even close.
Okay.
I thought it was good, but I don't think it was even close.
I gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, it was good, but I don't think it was even close. I thought it was very good, just not up there with the best ones.
I gotcha. Because like I said, when it comes to Kane's views on certain things, I think he's out of his fucking mind. But as in terms of a character, he was really, really good.
He was a great character, no doubt about it. Did Flair ever beat any of the the bigger stars that he would compete against with the figure four?
No, I don't think he did.
I mean, he would do it, and then they would sell it forever, like Sting's doing right now, like he's in this awful pain. But I don't ever really remember him beating any of the major stars, at least with the figure four. I'm sure he probably did, but I just don't remember a lot of them.
I don't remember either. And the thing is that speaking of submissions, I did a thing on Twitter through our page on our which I put my 5 favorite finishers of all time. Which number 1 is the pedigree. Mm-hmm. Number 2, which is my favorite submission, is the Taz Mission, which I thought was a badass finisher. But
I like the Taz Mission. That's a good one.
And but leg finishers, the Texas Cloverleaf was hands down my favorite.
Yeah, and the
sharpshooter, excellent. Because they were more believable. The figure four, would you put it up there as one of the best submissions?
No. Most people never submitted to the figure four unless they were a jobber or low tier talent.
I think once Greg Valentine started doing it, the credibility went out the fucking window.
Anything he touches does that to me. Sting just turned the figure four over though, and like as you always see people do with the figure four, is they turn it over into kind of a modified sharpshooter just to kind of reverse it on him a little bit.
Because I know growing up with your shit. Sorry, my hand went numb for a second, so I dropped the phone. But no, which I know growing up with your friends like I did, you would wrestle. Sure. You would put the figure four on them, the sharpshooter, all that. Now, when it came to the figure four, did you reverse it on people to put the pressure?
We would
on
always
them?
do the sharpshooter, the Boston Crab.
Okay, I got
We would always do the Boston Crab or the Sharpshooter. An occasional figure 4 you would get in there that you would do, but mainly the Sharpshooter or the Boston Crab. Later on, Texas Cloverleaf.
Oh God, yes, without a doubt. I love the Texas Clover. It's so Dean Malenko made me fall in love with the move. So
Dean Malenko is just tremendous. Daniel says, I would have put the reversal of the figure 4 is the best submission move ever. What pain they must have went through. People yelling in pain. It's like they're getting murdered.
Well, like the legitimate figure 4 does hurt.
Sure.
If you put it on the correct way. Now, like reversing it, because I've reversed it and which it didn't hurt me or the other person. Oh, good Lord. Man,
they're putting on a really good match though here.
Oh yeah, they are.
It's a little long for me, but then again, I always say that I'm not a fan of Iron Man matches.
I'm not either.
I mean, I know this isn't an Iron Man match on paper, but
this is TV time left.
Yeah, this is TV time left that they got here, and it's a 45-minute, time limit that they're giving them.
Me and you, we're more fans of matches that are between 15 to 30 minutes at max.
Even less than that, 10 to 15 minutes tops for me.
Now,
unless it's like one of these just tremendous matches that you just can't put down because it's so good. I'll tell you, I saw some clips from AEW this week. That Kenny Omega and that El Viking or
Vikino or whatever,
El Vikino or something like that. Boy, that fucking guy can go, man. He is good.
They got one of their highest ratings that they've gotten in a long time.
Dude, that match was tremendous. That El Vikingo or whatever his name is. That fucking guy can go. And Kenny Omega, whatever people think of him, Kenny Omega can go too.
I would say honestly, based off pure talent, and I know some people might think I'm nuts for saying this, but I think the two best wrestlers in the world right now, based off pure in-ring talent, is Seth Rollins and Kenny Omega.
I wouldn't put Seth up there, but I put Kenny.
Really?
No, I wouldn't put him up there. No, I wouldn't.
I think Seth.
He's good, but I wouldn't put him up there as the best. I don't think there's many people for matches. If you're a match person, that could put on a match like Kenny Omega.
Kenny, I would say, is based off pure match quality. I would say Kenny is the best.
He can go with anybody.
I know he can. Just imagine.
Go with anybody.
Just imagine a Shawn Michaels in his prime versus Kenny Omega.
That'd have been a match that people would have enjoyed. It would have been tremendous.
Rey Mysterio prime.
Oh, him and Rey, that would be great.
I wonder if they fought each other
El
before.
Vikingo guy, Del Hio or whatever his name is. I'd like to see him and Rey with their two lucha styles or whatever. There was a move that guy did with Kenny Omega, and I know people were shitting on it because Kenny was looking up or something to try to, plot it out because, of course, he knew it was coming. I mean, the guy did like this reverse fucking flip, into a Hurricane Rana type move right onto his shoulders, right from the turnbuckle. I've never seen anybody do anything like that in my life.
I thought it was fantastic.
Just a whole other level of good.
Oh yeah,
so I give them a lot of credit. It was a great match.
Oh yeah, like that out. And so like the ratings last week, it was 848,000, and the advertisement of this match with Kenny and Viking, it rose it to 954,000. So they gained over 100,000 viewers simply by the advertisement of this. So I feel like, yeah. And the thing is that Kenny, I believe, don't get me wrong. Yes, I do have my feelings about the whole 5-star match thing and all that. I don't believe most people that wrestle like that are draws. I don't. But I believe Kenny is one of the few that are, when booked correctly. So,
this was one of Rick's shortest matches at this point in his career, Daniel. He was going, it's true, though. Like, he was going 60 minutes a night. That was the thing that was always Rick was always famous for, was the 60-minute Broadways all throughout his career that he would have with people. And this going to go 45 minutes here to the time limit if it goes that far, if we don't get a winner, is definitely short for his standards. Think about that for Rick. This guy's making towns every night and doing these long 30 to 60 minute long matches every night.
Oh, dude,
And they're doing them with the same people at the house shows at that point because they're practicing them up for the, to see what the crowd's like. They were practicing it for the pay-per-views for TV.
Many of the people have said this, and I know me and you, like we really can't argue this. No one had better cardio in wrestling history than Ric Flair. I mean,
I think at this point, I think it's pretty hard for anybody to say that they had as much as him. And think about this: he's out partying every night and drinking. He's out partying and drinking his face off every night. Like, so that's a real
flashing stewardesses, everything. I mean,
doing God knows whatever he was doing out there, doing helicopter rides out for everybody in the crowd.
That's a testament.
I love the Rick bump there. Look at the Rick bump as he just goes face forward to himself.
Has Rick ever gotten to the top rope and landed?
I don't think so.
God.
I don't think so at all. I know he does it every match, but I always love that when he gets whipped into the turnbuckle and goes upside down. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah. And good Lord. I would have to say
they couldn't have got these judges better chairs. These poor judges have had to sit on these fucking steel chairs on the outside there with no padding in front of that little shitty coffee or that little shitty table.
Oh, good Lord. Oh, God. Yeah. Well, I mean, they weren't on the best of financial times, even though they're getting great ratings.
Yeah, just as God knows what he was doing. And even he said, I can't do anything with that. Oh,
absolutely.
He definitely lived his gimmick and enjoyed his life at the height of it, didn't he?
Which I agree like 1,000%. I mean, he was true to what his character was. And you talk about
admire that at least about him, even if what the things he did was shitty and he wasn't always the best person and did a lot of stupid choices. You got to admire somebody at least that goes out and lives their life the way they want to, no matter what. I don't think it doesn't make it right, but you got to admire that at least they live the life the way they want to, I guess, even if it's the wrong choices.
Oh yeah, and the thing is that we talked about strong DNA earlier, like with Mr. Mike Rotunda. Ric Flair, his daughter, is the greatest female wrestler in the history of the business. So I'm just saying, you talk about strong genetics, my friend. Or do you think I'm nuts saying that Charlotte is the greatest female wrestler ever?
I'd have to say in the ring, probably. Yeah,
yes,
I'd have to say probably in the ring. Yeah, probably in the ring for sure. I mean, there's been some other great performers out there, but I would have to probably give it to her. 5 minutes remain. Good job, JJ. What a champion you are up there. JJ, you got an easy payday for this match, Daniel.
Dude, I love it. How much do you think they paid Jason Hervey?
Buckets? He's just praying those paint buckets don't fall.
He's praying that Ole doesn't get pissed off and start firing at the paint buckets.
What'd you say about Jason Hervey?
How much do you think Jason got paid for this?
I think Jason was doing this one for free. He was living his best life. I think this was when he was banging Missy Hyatt.
Oh, well, good for him.
I think him and Missy Hyatt were like in a relationship or something, right?
I think, yeah. You know more than me. I'm not saying that you're wrong. But I just don't know much about it. But yeah,
I believe they were hooking up at this point. Or it might have been right around this time frame, maybe a little bit later.
Oh, this is for Missy. Anyways, never mind. I'm not going to go there. You can look up the stories with New Jack and Missy. Yeah,
Missy's got some stories about her that people have told through the years.
Woo! Especially in ECW. Anyways, that's a different discussion.
Big credit to these two competitors, though, man. Like they've been going for about 40 minutes now, and neither of them is. They still got energy like crazy.
And Sting, you talk about cardio, man. Back then, yeah, dude, Sting can go too.
Give him some credit here. He's a young kid in the business, probably only been in the business 3-4 years at this point. This is his first big, huge match with Rick, and he's getting put on this big spotlight, for the Clash of Champions going against WrestleMania 4. And you're getting put in there with the top star of the NWA, WCW at this time, Ric Flair. Oh, yeah. And he is holding his own and then some.
Which at this time, Flair was either the biggest or second biggest star in the world. So, I mean, that's saying something.
Do you think he was a bigger star than Randy Savage at this point? Because this is WrestleMania 4 time frame when Randy's going to win the title.
Okay, scratch that. I take that back. Third.
Yeah, I could see it people going either way with them, but I gotta say, I think Randy Savage at this point is a little bit bigger of a star than him.
The more we do these watch-alongs, the more I watch Randy, the more respect I have for him and his dedication to his character, everything. Randy, an absolute legend, shows why he's one of the greatest ever. Brother, yeah, that's tough. Would you say, honestly, Savage was bigger than Hogan? Or that Hogan was bigger than Savage? Or do you think...
No, Hogan's way bigger than him.
Okay.
Way bigger.
Or would you say Savage was number 2? Like, just...
At this era, he definitely number 2. But no, he didn't even come close to Hogan. And that's not a knock on Randy. I love Randy Savage. I just said it earlier. He's probably my second favorite wrestler of all time. He wasn't even remotely in Hogan's league.
I got you.
Didn't mean that he wasn't great. He just Hogan was the money.
I got you.
Sting is just tremendous here tonight. Beautiful stinger splash. Loving it. He's going for the Scorpion Deathlock.
So who did it first? Was it Bret or Sting?
Sting.
Okay.
Yeah, Bret did it years later. Bret started doing it in like 91.
Do you think which one looks better to you? Sting, the Deathlock or the shooter? Okay.
I mean, I know it's the same move and everything like that. Sting did it great, but to me, it was definitely Bret Hart.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
There's the bell. Time limit is up. We have a draw here, Chris.
Excellent match from both men. I gotta say, kudos. This was the match of the night. Hands, dude. Like this show from top to bottom has been fantastic. Excellent choice for the watch along tonight.
By God, how is Flair hanging on?
Yeah, brother. Like we need to do more of these like 1980s watch alongs. This was fantastic.
Well, we'll be doing this one again, no doubt. Daniel agreed here. He said, not a chance. Hogan was always number 1.
Okay.
Savage was a great number 2, but not Hogan. Yeah. I agree. That's my opinion.
And there's a question that I'm going to ask you before we get off the air that me and Daniel were discussing the other day, and which I think, which I have a strong opinion on, which I know you will too. So I'm excited to hear.
That's going to wrap up the show, though, folks. That's the end of the Clash.
Like, there's 4 minutes left.
I don't know. Maybe you got commercials or something at the end. Let's see. They're in the ring with everybody now.
Oh yeah, because like the judges.
Yeah. This announcer is trying to sound like Howard Finkel. Ladies and gentlemen,
Howard Finkel. Check out Luke Gallows. His impersonation of Howard Finkel. It's amazing.
Judge Patty Mullins has done it for Ric Flair. Let's see who
else. Of course, because Flair's kind of
Gary Jester for Sting.
Okay.
So we're 1-1.
What's Wayne? Just
Sammy Scott says it's a draw.
What?
But how don't you have to pick a winner though?
Yeah, no shit. I'm going with honestly, Sting.
Sting won that to me on paper, I think. You know, if I was to be a judge here, I would have guessed Sting, but crowd's kind of upset with that horseshit ending there that guy didn't call it out as anything.
Wow.
Well, you know, it was a way to prolong the feud.
Yeah, it's smart. I mean, and no offense, but do you think they're going to do like a title change on free TV without?
It would have been a great way to get people to turn in potentially, though.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, it'd let them know that anything could happen.
What good is a judge if they'll say it's a draw? I agree.
It makes no sense. Like, you got to pick a winner here. That's why we have a judge in case this goes to a time limit. We got to have a winner. But this fucking dipshit's going to say it's a draw. Come,
Well-
what is the logic of that right there? That's just fucking stupid.
Well,
That's WCW always though.
well, it's kind of like us going to court. You got caught on videotape. You murdered somebody.
Yep.
And then the judge saying, you know what? There's not enough evidence. It's a draw.
But Judge, you shot him in the head, and you can see it on camera. He pulled the gun out and put it right to his head and blew his brains out.
But there's not enough proof. Sorry.
Sorry.
It's a draw.
Can't do it here. I can't make a decision. You know? I'm going to call it a draw, and then you're going to still remain on the streets to go shoot more people.
Sound good? Yeah, there you go.
That's the end of the show, though, folks.
Dude.
Man, what a way to leave it for people.
Okay, apparently, from what I heard, actually, I read a story. Lee Marshall threatened to kick Tony Schiavone's ass
For that mustache.
so that's why Tony shaved
All
it.
right, fair enough. So what's your question? Hit me with it.
Okay, so before we end tonight, me and Daniel were having a legitimate talk about fans in the wrestling business because recently there was a story that was released. There's a Rhea Ripley. She is one of the best female wrestlers in the world. She's getting ready to face Charlotte at WrestleMania, and Rhea has basically gone on blast, and she's gone online saying that she's not going to sign autographs for people no more in public. And the thing is that for because you have the fans that have so much crap that they want signed, and they go online to resell stuff. And the thing is it's frustrating because of those people. The true fans that legitimately just want a single item signed because they legitimately love the wrestler, they get screwed and they get bundled up within that group. So my thing about it is that I personally feel that if you meet a wrestler out at a place, let's say a restaurant, an airport, whatever, then you should leave them alone. I feel honestly that the wrestlers, their gimmick is their business. Their character is how they make money. And the thing is now if you are a child, then I see, okay, that's cool. A free autograph for Billy, The Undertaker did. You can check that out on our Facebook page, by the way. But I feel with grown adults, if you want something signed, you should go to the arena. That, or you should go to a fan fest or whatever that is advertised, and you should pay the wrestlers for their time. Do you think I'm wrong for that, or do you think I'm right? What's your opinion on that?
I've seen these people before. They come out and bring 90 things for them to sign, and it's such horseshit, to do because they're just reselling it. I think anybody has the right to say no if they don't want to do something. If they don't want to sign autographs or take a picture, then it's their business. They're not, obligated to do that for anybody. If they want to do something, it's nice, great. If they don't, respect their privacy. I wouldn't want somebody coming up if I'm meeting with my family or trying to get off my flight and catch, go to work or whatever they're doing, or they're roaming around. I wouldn't want somebody invading my privacy on certain things, that's just me. I mean, I'm sure a lot of them get a kick out of people, coming up and recognizing them and talking to them, and it's nice. But if you got everybody doing it all the time, I'm sure it probably gets really old, and it's an invasion of privacy for people. So I think it's up to them and their discretion. If they want to do it, great. If they don't want to do it, then that's on them. I don't think it makes them wrong for that, because a lot of people push the boundaries too. Like you said, somebody's sitting down eating dinner with their family, and some person comes up to say hi to them and get a picture and an autograph. Come on, have some respect for somebody's privacy and their personal space a little bit there. I'm great. You're a fan, and I've met a bunch of them through the years, in airports and things like that. I used to work in an airport. So it was you saw them all the time, and most of them are really nice and would do it, but they're still, to me, they have the right to their privacy. And if they don't want to sign something, then they don't want to sign something. I don't think you should go out of your way to be a dick to somebody unless they're being a dick to you. I agree. If you don't want to, just say no, thank you, have a nice day. But nobody should be getting mad at them for that.
And which I personally feel too, because a lot of people say, well, you purposely put yourself out there with a public job, so you owe it to us. No offense, these athletes don't owe you a damn thing.
Nothing.
because the fact is that if you want to spend time with them, go buy a ticket, go
to a signing.
Yeah, go pay for like a meet and greet. And like there's some people saying that's bullshit because like they're pocketing it. So the fuck what? That's their job. Because like for me, whenever I went to like the meet and greet like with Daniel, which I paid Cross $50, and guess what? It was worth every single penny because of the experience he gave me. And guess what? Which I didn't think twice about it because I know that's how he makes his living.
Absolutely. It'd be like somebody coming in and going and telling me that I got to see clients for free because, you know, like, oh, yeah, you got to see people for free. No, people pay, you know, for that, for my job, or people coming into your store and taking things out and saying, oh, I'm coming to your store and I can take whatever I want. No, it doesn't work that way. That's their business. That's how they get paid for it. That's how they make a living, is to do this stuff for most of them. So
I agree.
They don't owe you shit, like, at all. If they're going to be nice enough to do it, if you do approach them and they do it, then hey, consider yourself lucky, I guess. But if not, go on out, like you said, do a fan fest or an autograph signing. If you want to meet them that bad and get their autograph and talk to them, that's their business. Go out and pay for it. Because
this is the thing, is that's like someone, like you just said it, like someone like that's going in like to my work and like they load up their cart full of shit and like they go out the door and then they get mad at me because I'm like, dude, like what the fuck are you doing? Like why aren't you buying that? Because ultimately that's how I get my paycheck is through that.
Selling the goods that they have there.
Yeah. So which I figured that I would just ask you that because honestly, like with Rhea, she said that she's going to stop with doing like the signings within like public, like with fans walking up to her and basically saying, don't even bother, because she missed her flight because of what recently happened, like with these fucking idiots, like these resellers. And like with all due respect, like with these fucking resellers and because I deal with these jagoffs every single week when it comes to baseball cards and with game systems. Get a real fucking job. Stop ripping people off through this bullshit.
They're a special breed, some of them, you know, and I get it's a good business for some people to do it, but some of them are just a freaking special breed, man. But I support her decision all the way. They're not owed anything.
All right. Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle. What do you
all the way? Thumbs up.
Okay, so what was the highlight for you, really, really quick?
Love the 2 tag team matches. I really enjoyed the last match, but I gotta say, I think my favorite match of the night was the Midnight Express versus the Fantastics.
Without a doubt.
Yeah,
thumbs up for me. Great show all the way. The upside was the tag team match with the Fantastics. A slight second was the Ric Flair match. The sucky part, like, was the barbed wire match, but it was still bowl and ugly, but greatly entertaining. Excellent show all the way. Great choice, John, and it was an absolute blast tonight.
Daniel's giving it a thumbs up, like if he met mommy. That's for sure.
Ooh.
It was a really good show. I really enjoyed it.
She breaks my back.
I mean, I'm looking forward to doing another Clash in the upcoming weeks here again, so we'll rock one of those out. But hey, tomorrow is our Monday Night War show, so if you guys get a chance to check this out before Monday, come on out Monday night. We're going to be doing our weekly Monday night.
It's Raw tomorrow, right?
That we do. Yeah, tomorrow's Raw, so we're going to be doing the May 5th edition of Monday Night Raw. So it should be a pretty easy victory for them, considering how bad fucking Nitro was last week. But hey, Rockabilly and Honky Tonk Man might ruin it, or we might get an Ahmed promo.
Will Poughkeepsie still hold the title as the ugly? Wait, hold on. What's it, Poughkeepsie? Omaha. Will Omaha be dethroned as the ugliest crowd? Just saying.
It's going to be a hard one. It's going to be a hard choice. Omaha and then Saginaw are pretty tremendous. So
good Lord.
Daniel says 2 nights in a row. Is this Christmas? We're giving you a Christmas in March here, folks.
Oh, I love it. And by the way, I'm sorry, Paul Bromwell.
You're damn right you are. All right, everybody. We are on out of here tonight. Hopefully you guys enjoyed tonight, or if you're checking this out later on, hopefully you're doing well. We hope you come on out and check out the rest of the shows upcoming this week. And we really thank you for coming out, and hope you enjoyed some Clash of the Champions with us tonight. And have no fear. We will be seeing you tomorrow night right here for some WWF Monday Night Raw for our Monday Night Wars watch along. And final thing I say is make sure you go and like and follow the page here on Facebook. If you're watching on Facebook, give it that like and follow. Boom, there it is. And if you're checking it out on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. And, of course, hit that big bell button, too, so you get notified.
Retro repeat, baby.
Time. Amen. The retro repeat out there on YouTube. All right, everybody. We're out of here. Be good, be safe, and we'll see y'all for some Monday Night Raw tomorrow night right here on the channel on YouTube or Facebook. For Brother Martin, I am John. We're out of here. We'll see you again real soon.